nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga. Why you ain't got no hair up there? Boy, you looking like a bowling ball. Boy, you looking like a basketball. Boy, you looking like a soccer ball. Boy, you looking like a golf ball. Boy, you looking like a tennis ball. Nigga, haircut tennisism. Haircut falling off the ball. Boy, you looking like a milk dud. Nigga thought he was Michael Jordan. Boy, you looking like Blank Man. Boy, you looking like Lil Bill. Boy, you looking like Wayne Head. Ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga, ball nigga. Boy, you looking like Mr. Clean. When your hair girl, you look like Mr. T. When your hair girl, look like Homer Simpson. Boy, your hair long like a Dill Pip. Boy, your hair shaped like an AirPod. Boy, your hair long like a curtain rod. Ball nigga, ball nigga.
Yo, that shit's hilarious. That shit is hilarious, yo. Listen, we here, guys. Welcome to Everything Is, where we talk about everything that matters. I'm your host, CT Chitty Bang, along with my co-host, Chris the Most High, Joint Roller Ayatollah himself. And we are the culture, we are the zeitgeist, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. It is Hot Take Tuesday, and we got some hot takes, man. At least I know Chris does. I know Chris has some hot takes. And I got maybe a semi-hot take, but it's not really that hot. It's really just a question, a question. But before we get to that, we gotta give a bit of shout out. Well, first, before we get to that, Chris, how are you doing?
Yo,
tonight? How are you doing tonight?
I am very much better than I was yesterday. It was the case of the Mondays yesterday. And I gotta slide this way.
Man.
I gotta slide this way. I gotta slide this way. Yeah.
My
other left. No, it was the case. It was the case of the Mondays yesterday, but I didn't get no real rest. You know what I'm saying? But today I was able to kind of sneak a little nap in on the guise of baby. You know what I'm saying? The baby sleeping. You know, so it was one of those naps. You know what I mean? Then, but I was able to get up, take care of the responsibilities of going to get the boys. Yo, that's gonna kill me, boy. I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta leave the house. You know, if I'm bullshitting
for the year,
if I'm bullshitting, I can't leave.
I don't know how you're doing that all year.
On the low though, if I'm bullshitting, I cannot leave the house no later than 2:30. And then when I leave, I gotta go sit in the pickup line, wait for Christopher to get out at 3:15, then drive 20 minutes. No lie, Chitty. I promise you. I got to Christian school at 3:23. Right? He gets out at 4:00. So I'm sitting in this line for 40 minutes. I don't get Christian until 4:47.
What's up with
that? The pickup line is ridiculous, bro.
So even if you get early, it's still diesel.
Even if I get there early, it's still super diesel, nigga. Super diesel. So so then I get Christian, and then we drive. First thing I'm like, hey, how's your day? He's like, good, but where's McDonald's? I said, all right, respect. So we go get McDonald's, and I don't get back to the crib till 5:30. By then, I'm just like, all right. Before I look up, it's 6. Before I kind of decompress, I'm instantly like, all right, let me bathe the boys, let me get them. So I'm building this routine. I'm building this callus. Today, I really felt good. I really hit a lot of benchmarks today within the house. I know I didn't do much for the company for the show, but I was able to get through the day to come here, bring some energy. I'm a little live, so I'm good today.
It's crazy, man. We're gonna have a tough year. It seems like to be on track to where we were the past first 3 months, 3.5 months. But we're gonna try our best. But we do know we're gonna pick it up in the fourth quarter. We got a lot coming your way.
Yes. So it's been a lot, man. You know, we had for me personally with the kids, getting them in school, and then unfortunately Chrisiah, I was talking out of shop about the show about me. He's allergic. damn near deathly allergic to peanuts. Remember, I told you one time we had gave him a snack.
Yeah.
We had to send him to the hospital, so we ended up getting his blood test back, his blood results back. Peanut allergy. So then we took him to a specialist. He just had a specialist appointment today.
Okay.
They said, nigga, don't even breathe around peanuts with this boy.
Okay.
So peanuts is a big thing for the baby. At 10 months, we got to, just fit. And he had to get recircumcised last week. You know what I mean? So like,
a couple, busy couple weeks too.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Shout out to Chris Simon, man. Shout out to Christian. Shout out to CJ. All the little boys. Hope they're keeping them healthy and safe. My nephews and guys, so I love you guys. But yeah, listen, it's gonna be crazy, this school year. But this is what we do. We still handle our business as men for our families, and we come back.
And we might have a brighter Florida. We might have a brighter Florida.
We might have a brighter Florida.
I'm growing my kids up. I might have a brighter Florida.
It's gonna be a long shot. Florida. But we gotta talk about a result that just came in. Like this just in. Listen, we have news.
Where's the ticker?
I got it here, but I don't know what to say. What should I put?
Democratic primary winner, Angie Nixon, boy. That's what we gonna put. We celebrate because we put it in the atmosphere. Literally last night we talked about it, but Chidi beforehand, he put in the atmosphere about 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, and said, yo, this lady, Angie Nixon, look into her, Chris. She's in Florida. I'm hearing good things about her. You know what I'm saying? Look into that. I said, bet. So, of course, now that we the zeitgeist, we the motherfucking culture, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, of course, everything that we talk about come to pass. You know what I mean? So Angela Nixon right now can run head up against Miss Moody as she was given that seat by Mark Rubio and Ron DeSantis. Let's see if we can really change some shit, change things around. That's going to be something I'm excited about.
Let's take a look. Breaking news. Oh, hold up.
Fast and a lot of clarity in Florida. Let's bring in Steve Kornacki to walk us through the results that we've got so far. Steve, all kinds of primaries being called right now. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, look, the votes came in real fast and a lot of clarity in Florida. Here's the surprise of the hour. It is in the race for the United States Senate, the Democratic primary here. Angie Dixon, an underfunded state legislator, has defeated handily Alexander Vindman. Vindman, this is a name I think folks might remember. He was the whistleblower at the heart of the 2019 impeachment of Donald Trump. He came into this with a ton of national support, a ton of national money. There had been some concerns from Democratic leaders that maybe he was a bit complacent as a candidate. Wow, that proved to be true.
He was going to flip on us.
By Angie Nixon, who came at him
I wasn't sure about that.
Who joined the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, during this campaign, who wins this primary. Now, Nixon in the general election is going to face off against Ashley Moody. Moody is the appointed incumbent senator right now. When Marco Rubio left to join the administration, Moody was appointed to replace him. She's now running for the seat on her own. She easily wins the Republican primary. This is not a race. This U.S. Senate race in Florida was not considered, looking ahead to November, a top-tier race. Democrats had been hoping they could make it one, but the Democratic establishment, at least, the calculation was based on women winning this primary.
Wait. Listen. This is Florida, guys.
Come on.
This is fucking Florida.
That voted for a black woman over a white man, bro.
Yo, listen. It's gonna be, mind you, shout out to a woman, period, because the Republican lady, she's a woman too. So woman power in Florida. Here's what I want to say real quick. Democratic incumbents, look the fuck out.
Come on.
The guard is fucking changing. You cannot come here with that same old bullshit and think you're going to run this country off of the same. We are offering nothing new. And giving and losing to the Republicans, other than losing. Yo, we weren't even gonna go into this, but we gotta talk about Hakeem Jefferies in a moment. But this is what we're talking about. This do nothing.
Yeah, you wanna roll into this nigga after this one?
Yo, right after this one, we'll go into that because it flows, because this do nothing cavalier attitude that the Democrat incumbents, the corporate Democrats or the whatever the moderate Democrats have come to pass as they are almost guaranteed. And like this guy here, Lindman, he kind of overlooked Angie. Let's keep it a buck. He overlooked Angie, was already pretty much lining up his attack against Moody, and he fucking lost. This is for Senate, guys. Senate was not in play for Florida, and it still might not be. It's handily lost. But that's the thing that I want to like bring up. Angie Dixon, now a member of the DSA, going for healthcare, reforming, the reforming healthcare in America. They're all about, obviously affordability in our states. This is a watershed moment, guys. This is a red state where a DSA member just won 55.2% over a 44.8% to the incumbent, who clearly fought against Trump. He actually was part of his impeachment. You think he would get some, brownie points for that, right? Because he was part of Trump's first impeachment. No, people want something different.
Bro, remember I was reading this shit last night, and I'm like, he don't sound convincing to me, bro. I'm like, he don't pass the lip test. The reading shit look very generic.
So the same thing about Angie too. You said you didn't like her reading.
I like her reading, So again, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be fair here, you know what I mean? But to your point, she made it to where it was about her constituents. It wasn't nothing about nothing else. It wasn't about nobody else. She didn't overlook her opponent. She said, we're going to do this step by step by step. And her beating Alex, first off, is very much a step.
Yes.
Her going head up against, it's two women now.
It's two women.
It's two women.
It ain't no man woman thing.
It ain't no man woman thing, nigga. It's two women.
Two women.
And you already know.
Cat fight.
Nigga,
Cat fight. Yeah.
I'm in my Joey Styles bag, nigga.
Facts. Listen, man, this is extremely inspiring, to see a person who's, they would call super progressive win in Florida in the Democratic primary. I think that it shows that the Democrats at least want something new, and if you don't come with something to offer, you're going to get smoked. You're gonna get smoked. Exactly. It's just this is what it is. So yeah, let me move over to the unfortunate Florida District 25. We talked a little bit about this race. Jared Moskowitz beat the shit out of Oliver Larkin. Unfortunately, this guy over here
beat the dog shit out of him, boy.
Yeah, and Oliver Larkin, he's been making the rounds, but also he didn't give that je ne sais quoi to me. I know he got a lot of people hyped because he talked about Trump being in the Epstein files on Fox News, but
you know what's crazy? We're in a world where that don't move nobody no more.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like we're in that space in the world. We're saying that our current sitting president is in classified files that speak about child predators. You know what I'm saying? And realistically, it's sad that doesn't get any type of traction. You have to. Look at that man. Man, it's looking bad for our guys, man. Looking bad for our guys.
W. Wasserman Schultz, man, he got it. Luke is not even on this damn bitch. Sorry, Uncle Luke, he's not even on there. But looks like Elijah Manley's gonna lose. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and now she's an incumbent. So for her, it ended up working out. So we still got some work to do if you're progressive and making names for yourself here. It seems like, granted, this is all Florida, so you still got to go and vote in the actual general election. So,
exactly.
This is all primary news, guys. Pay attention. Listen, I know he's not who he wanted, but Jared got to vote for Jared. We got to vote for Debbie. I know it's not who we wanted either. We got to vote for Debbie, get her in there. And then we have the Queen, Angie Nixon. Gotta pull for her, guys. Pull for Angie Nixon. This is huge for her. This is huge for her. She's making a name for herself. So shout out to Angie
Yo,
Nixon.
niggas not even. You gotta remember what they just said too. The damn, I forgot how he worded it, but what he said was they weren't expecting Angie to move. So again, progressive mindset wasn't again something that they looked at that can be a viable
in a red
attachment
state, especially
in a red state.
But you
So that's how we know where the
with Abdul, and they
but
both
see,
beat.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
This is the beginning of breaking the two-party system. If we have fraction within the Democratic Party, there is a potential. But okay, so, but that's fine. Four is better than two. I
don't think that they're going to be two parties though. I think what's going to happen is that one faction is going to win. I think that one faction will take over the other faction. Whether you got the MAGA, there's not American First, then you got the progressives versus the traditional Democrat. Those two are going to fight for the identity.
I don't know.
Of the party.
I don't know if that'd be possible. I think
it's happening. Bernie Sanders is a progressive and he's a Democrat still.
No, well, again, Bernie Sanders is one of them people I saw on a lifeline that are phasing out as a traditional. No, okay, yeah, let's bring her up. That I almost called out her name. That nigga tripping. She tripping because she attached herself to Hakeem. We've already stated where Hakeem's going if we win. We already know where she wants to be. So she's less progressive as the fucking days are turning than we need her to be. She's becoming very traditional. Very, very traditional.
I don't think she's becoming traditional. I think that her just backing Hakeem is not making her traditional.
Not even her backing Hakeem. It's the woke one stuff. It's a lot of the stuff that AOC's pulling back on. She's pulling back on the rhetoric of defunding police. It's not something that we will use today. She's talking.
I agree with that though. Listen when real quick. Let me get this out here. It's just so that. But no, let's keep it. Fuck it. When
you talking about this goddamn peanut butter and jelly picture that's up here, cuz.
I didn't even see it.
Yo, can you just show the people real quick what that is?
They made this dude come on stage uncrustable, bro. This guy is getting roasted all like, yo, I can't believe that shit. That's crazy. Oh my God! Why do you shave his face?
Oh man,
that's crazy. But but yeah, we can get that out of here. Real quick. It's kind of distracting. It is. But here's the thing about during the whole Black Lives Matter and George Floyd protest, it was going well, and we were trying to be proactive on police reform. Right? Once they started talking about defund the police, it got out of hand. I remember that narrative, and I was like, fuck, y'all have jumped the shark now. And then people start to call them radicals. And then they start saying, oh, they are, whatever. They start.
Why is that radical? Why is that radical?
How are you communicating?
Do you know how much? Do you know how much money's in the police?
I get that. But how you communicate, how you want to reform the police, it sounds like take all the money away. How you communicate that matters. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, and I'm cool with that. But The whole defund the police thing, me as a progressive, I don't like that framing. I think progressives need to communicate a lot better on their ideals. That's why I like Zara Mamdani. That's why I like Abdul Sayed, because they are such great communicators. That's what makes them so powerful. That's what makes them a real threat. You know?
So I just put up some numbers real quick. The state, Florida, does not have a single unified police force budget, as law enforcement is split between state agencies and hundreds of local cities and county departments. But let me give you this number: 114.5 billion.
For just Florida?
Florida is the fiscal budget for Florida.
Give me 1 second.
Nigga, defund that shit. I'm sorry. You talking about 14.5. Now let me see if I can pull up real deal hardcore. Yep, here it is. I can send you the article. Let me send you the article through Discord, so niggas don't know that I'm just making shit up with AI. I'm not Ish, Mark Lamont Hill. I look at AI and I see what they give me as a suggestion. I pull that up. Governor Ron DeSantis signs Florida fiscal year 2026 to 2027 budget, capping 8 years of conservative leadership and historic results. This was as of June 29th of 2026, where Ron DeSantis signed a budget, a $117.6 billion spending plan that reflects nearly 8 years of conservative leadership anchored by fiscal discipline, responsible governance, and strategic investment. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Yes, Chidi, I'm sorry, as a progressive, we might have to argue and fight, but this is the in-house fighting that we got to do. As a progressive, nigga, defund this shit.
All right. Let me ask you a question. Can we say it better than defund?
Let me ask, what's a different way of defunding? Let me ask the sentiment of that, nigga.
Yeah, that better. I'm gonna ask. Listen, what's a better way of capturing the actual goals of defund the police movement? Because it doesn't sound good.
What doesn't sound good? 115 billion being deployed
No, that
to the
doesn't sound
police
good either. But defund the police.
Okay, so but this is the argument that we had yesterday as a continual conversation. Is it about what we say and how we say it, or the action of what we're talking about? What we're talking about is
depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, but what we're talking about is defunding the budget. Defunding means, yes, not take all the money away, but we ask about how much billions, what's a millionaire, how much money needs to be placed in, again, one state.
No,
I'm not. This is not.
I don't know how much it takes to run one precinct, but I will tell you this: I do think that police should be funded to some degree. I think that police should exist. However, I don't think that it should be a thing that usurps other resources that could be given to the community, like education and infrastructure and like that.
So I'm sorry. No. I got some names for you. Go ahead and finish. And I got some phrases for you. Go ahead and finish your point.
No, go ahead.
No, you were landing somewhere. I just wanted to let you know I came up with it.
There's other things in a town or city or state that could be funded that if you go through this 8 years and there's still like 100 billion left over, like it's a waste. Like you should be able to move that over to a different fund.
But if it's there for one thing, bro, they're not gonna say it's left over. It's used for something. They will use it because again, So here we go. If we want to say fiscal and responsibility framework, we can say audit the budget, or we can say streamline public safety spending,
or reallocate public safety. Reallocate funding.
Rebalance the budget. Invest in community first solutions. Fund root cause prevention. resource allocation for social services. All of this stuff don't sound like it needs to sound. It needs to sound how it needs to sound. Again, and this is my thing. Hold on. Okay, but here's my thing. When we're talking about when it's rooted in the police brutality, when it's rooted in the murder of black and brown bodies, and it's rooted in administrative leave with pay, that's part of the fucking budget. Defund the fucking police if this is part of the budget. If niggas can get off and get paid and then go to another precinct in the same state, just a different county.
I hear what I'm saying. Like, I believe that you can achieve the goal better and get more support behind it if we frame it differently, and we can still get the same result. Absolutely, I get the passion behind defunding police and why and what we need to do but we need to make sure that we can get people behind it, because even people who are Democrats are like, wait a minute, this sounds kind of crazy. Even for me, I was like, that's not what this is. It's not like we should reform police. We should reallocate spending for the police, but defunding sounds like to remove all funds. And I think that makes it seem like it's extreme.
Would it be hard to remove all funds and then be able to reallocate how much they get? I'm not just trying to knock some shit off the top. I need to scrape it
it's not
all.
Realistic to remove all funds.
Why? Okay, so because why is it not realistic?
It's a 24/7, 365 day job, system.
So what is the framework being based off of that we can't scrap that framework? That means stripping it from zero. That means stripping it from prime. To me,
I think
if there's a constructive framework that we're building up from, what is that foundation? Because that foundation is rooted in how much money they can get and extract from state allocated funds.
That's where you can start. You can start with building something, but you can't do that and you can't defund the police then do that. You got to do that simultaneously.
But we're fighting for. But we're fighting for. Okay, but this is where I'm coming from as a constituent, right? We're fighting for. I'm living in Polk County. We just talked about how they expanded Polk County. There still ain't no motherfucking teachers here. There still ain't no goddamn therapists here for my kids. There still ain't no abundant and we're talking about affluent, right? We use that word about affluent. There's not an affluence of fucking of opportunity because there's no budget. There's no money to spend, right? I go all the way to where I'm at in Polk County, and they're building everything. They're building Walmarts. They're building Sam's Clubs and gas stations. But they're not building no motherfucking schools. Yeah. They're not building no motherfucking therapy stations or therapy centers. They're not building social services that can use some of this motherfucking $117 billion over 8 years. You're telling me you allocate $117 billion over 8 years? Now, what the fuck you do for the school system in Florida?
And you should look.
What is doing for the
for education?
What is the plan for education in the bill for education or healthcare for your state, for the constituents of your state? What is the plan for affordable living? Affordable housing. Does Florida even live up to the wage of $15 an hour?
A receipt room for a defund police. And
Come
I
on,
think that's what we should do and dive into that.
There's
a lot of myths when it comes to that, and we want to unpack that.
I'm down with that. I'm super down with that.
Yeah.
I'm super down with that.
But yeah, when it comes to that, I don't think the framing works, and I think it kind of subverted from the goals and it got people scared. So that's what happens. It's not the right way.
So here's my question now, right? Since we here, what would prevent us from splitting off, right? Because you are clearly an independent, right? Because if you are progressive yet traditionalist, right, there's an independence in your thinking. So you don't choose a party, you choose the best person. But if we're fighting within the party, we won't choose the best person. We choose where that money go. So how do we not split and just say, hey, I'm a nigga that represent this, that don't take no money, that's from the grassroots, that say what I say, defund the police, healthcare for all. This is what the fuck I say. I'm not moving off that. Because I don't give a fuck how it sound, Jasmine Crockett-esque. I don't give a fuck how it sound. This is what it is.
That's how she is. Dang.
Hold on. What? nigga be on the floor saying, "Is it neo-Nazi, nigga? Yes or no?" Is what it sounds? It is what it sounds.
Okay, and yeah. But it's not like here's the thing. That's right, and that's in that framing because that's necessary. But when you're talking to a whole bunch of people, you're talking to one person, because that's an extreme, obvious thing though. Neo-Nazism. We talking about a movement of something you're trying to get done to change a fundamental structure of society. You're gonna need support from the public.
But see how you frame that two
You need
things.
to package that.
But defund the police, you deemed it as extreme.
It's
so we're
not,
putting those two things in the same thing.
It looks as extreme because it's not as extreme as it sounds when you look into it. What they really want to do, but there's a lot of framing from the progressive movement that hurts the causes. I'm going to be real with you. As a progressive, I do think I'm a progressive. I don't think I'm a traditionalist per se. I think there's certain things that I may be traditional on, but I want to move things forward. I'm always looking for a way to move things forward. But give me 1 second. I want to just put some water in my face. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. So I want to let people understand I want people to understand my my gripe here a little bit. Now, I may be reading this completely wrong, and possibly I am reading this wrong. So, since 2019, Florida has increased funding for Florida's education finance program by more than $8 billion, bringing the total K through 12 funding to a record $30 billion, while raising per student funding to $9,338, the highest level in state history. The administration also invested $7.1 billion towards teacher salary increases, expanded the nation's leading school choice programs, strengthened civic education, and maintained Florida's position as nation's leader in higher education and education freedom. Now, I want to be dead ass about this. This is from FloridaGovernment.com, so it is a lot of pro-Florida fluff. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I want to see the breakdown of money allocated to police across Florida and education across Florida fiscally. Let's look that up real quick. So, currently, across all state and local government spending in Florida, education receives roughly $35 billion to $37 billion annually, while police and law enforcement receive an estimated $10 to $11 billion, approximately $15 billion when including county jails and state corrections. So let's just go ahead and bring that to $15 billion. Essentially, the fiscal breakdown, policing across Florida is about, according to data compiled by the Urban Institute and Florida Institute of Consulting, over 85% of all direct policing expenditures occur locally. So total combined $15 billion. Direct police is $10.5 billion. Local governments get, and it's broken down to this, local governments get county sheriffs, $6 billion, municipal police, $3.5 billion, county jails and detentions, $4 billion. That's local government. Then your state government, they get FHP and FDLE, $1.2 billion, state corrections, $3.5 billion, recruitment and grants, $100 million. So essentially, there is a bigger fiscal allocation to education.
Okay.
So I want to speak that thoroughly through and correct myself on air as I'm reading this stuff in real time. Education finance through Florida Education Program, a finance program, it blends state sale tax revenue with local property tax to equalize funding. across all 67 counties. So it's not only funding that the state gives. Let's put that in perspective. We're talking about sales tax revenue and property tax. So again, the bill that's being funded is brought on by the constituents. We pay for that.
Yeah.
Right. So let's not. It ain't like the state is giving all this money.
So where is the money coming from for the police?
So here we go. So from funding ratio, approximately 60% of state funding and 40% of local required property tax go through public school districts. So that's about $25 million. It's $25 billion. I'm sorry, $25 billion.
Is state funding?
60% of state funding.
Okay.
So 60% of 25 billion.
40% y'all pay taxes into it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what 60% of 25
how does it work
billion.
for the if you can find out how does it work for do the public pay into the police?
Let's see. Do the public
what percentage is state funding for the police?
Okay.
Yeah.
What percentage is state funding for police? So right now, law enforcement primary funding, local government gets about funding breakdown. Okay. State funding accounts for roughly 10 to 15% of direct policing budgets across Florida. The remaining 85 to 90% is generated and spent at the local, city, and county levels. So us, spend the rest of that money into that, according to how it's broken down. It's 10 to 15% of state.
Okay. All right.
The vast majority of everyday police work, including county sheriff deputies, city police officers, patrol cars, 911 dispatch centers, is all paid for by municipal and county property taxes. Okay. 85 to 90% of the police force. So again, when we're stating my motherfucking tax dollar funds a nigga to either shoot me or put me in fucking jail without proper consideration to my fucking life of how it pays for this motherfucking salary. That's a fact. So when I'm saying defund, nigga, okay, then defund my state fucking tax, property tax, municipal county tax going to this. How the state pay for it?
All right. We'll talk about this more in our receipt room. So we got to dive into that for
respect.
I don't want to go too deep because I have a lot of questions and I don't want to keep going down a rabbit hole because we got a lot to talk about tonight. But real quick, Angie, shout out to Angie Nixon and congratulations.
Shout out Angie.
Winning,
we sparking big drinks for you, Angie. We drinking big drinks for you, Angie.
This is, to me, a watermark moment for a red state, saying that they want a Democrat that is progressive, even in a red state. They say that that socialism and all that doesn't work in red states, but when you're talking about helping people, afford their groceries, come on, that's universal. So let's check that. Let's check out another guy who is a part of the incumbents and the Democratic Party. He is the leader of the House. Leader of the House Representatives for the House minority at the moment.
The House minority.
It's going to be the majority, most likely after the midterms. Hakeem Jefferies and his take on Medicare for All, unfortunately. Shout out to the Garth Brother Club because they gave him donkey of the day.
Donkey today for Tuesday, August 18th goes to one of the most confusing people in American politics, Congressman Hakeem Jefferies. Well, actually.
1 second. Let me try something. Can I double time this? Just so I don't get fucking... I know how Brother Club get... I know how they be getting down, bro. They be tripping.
This ain't Joe Button. This ain't Joe Button, though. You gotta play that Clippers. You gotta pay that Clippers fee for Joe Button.
This is they do the same thing.
Oh yeah, you right. They Netflix.
Yeah.
These hoe ass niggas got bought out too. Pussy boys.
Let's go 1.25.
Pussy nigga. What's your name on the account? What is your work up in the mouth? Pussy nigga.
It's a reason they call him APAC Shakur. It's a reason they call him APAC Rocky. But today, we aren't here to talk about APAC. We are here to discuss Medicare for All. See, Hakeem was on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker, and the House Minority Leader indicated that he does not currently support Medicare for all.
Just to be very clear, though, as a Democratic leader in the House, would you vote for or against Medicare for all?
I think, as you indicated in your question to me, it's not legislation that I currently am co-sponsoring or that I support.
Okay.
But we do support the notion that we've got to find a path forward to fix our broken healthcare system and make healthcare affordable for every single American.
Pathetic. Some Democrats don't want to win, and it's about time folks stop pretending that they do. Okay, now listen, I want to be clear. Hakeem Jefferies is not getting donkey today because he doesn't support Medicare for all. You are allowed to not support Medicare for all. You can believe in a public option. You can believe in strengthening Obamacare. You can believe in expanding Medicare and Medicaid. You can believe there's another way to get every American affordable health care. That's called having a policy position. But what Hakeem did on Meet the Press illustrates one of the biggest problems Democrats have right now, and it's one of the things that pisses me off the most about the Democratic Party. They will tell people what they're against without giving them something equally clear that they're for, okay? We will come back to that, but I have a question for Hakeem Jefferies in regards to Medicare for all. Simply, what changed? Okay, right? Hakeem, in September of 2019, you became a co-sponsor of the Medicare for All Act. Then in 2021, Hakeem, you wasn't just somebody who eventually jumped on the Medicare for All. No, you was an original co-sponsor of the Medicare for All Act of 2021. Meaning when that bill was introduced, your name was already on it. Okay, now fast forward to 2026, Hakeem Jefferies, as you just heard, goes on Meet the Press and says Medicare for All is not legislation that he currently co-sponsors or supports. Once again, what changed? What did you learn between 2021 and now that changed your mind? Did the economics change? Did you discover something about Medicare for All that you didn't, know when you co-sponsored it? Did America's healthcare system suddenly get better? We know the answer to that. Did premiums get so cheap? Did I miss the announcement? Did deductibles disappear? Did prescription drugs become free? Did medical debt go away? Did insurance companies stop denying claims? Because if any of that happened, we all missed it. Okay, and by the way, politicians are absolutely allowed to change their minds. Okay, we should actually encourage people to change their minds when they get new information. Growth requires changing your mind sometimes. Wisdom requires changing your mind sometimes. But when you're an elected official and you change your position on something this significant, the people deserve to know why. Especially when the thing that changed most dramatically during that time appears to be your position, okay? Not your policy position, your actual position. Because once again, in 2021, Hakeem, you was a congressman from Brooklyn. Remember that? Remember when you was a congressman from Brooklyn and you was quoting Biggie and Jay, appearing to be down with the people? Today, you're the leader of the House Democrats, okay? The House Democratic Caucus. It could potentially become Speaker of the House, but you appear to be down with corporate America, not the people. So I have to ask, did your beliefs change when your title changed? Because that's what people hate about politics, okay? It's not disagreement, all right? It's the feeling that politicians believe one thing when they're trying to move up and another thing once they moved up, okay? And Hakeem Jefferies has repeatedly said healthcare is a right, all right? If healthcare is a right, how are you going to guarantee that right? That's all we want to know, okay? Because if Medicare for all isn't the answer anymore, what's the answer?
He just followed the playbook of his idol. He just followed this playbook. Hey, Charlemagne talks all the time how he loved Jay-Z. Hey, I admire Jay-Z. I admire Desiree Perez. They're my idols. I love them. He followed the fucking play. Hakeem Jeffries just followed the playbook. Hey, he's from Brooklyn, right? He quoted Jay-Z, right? Down with the cause, but then become corporate to where you don't know where the tree hides in the forest. Where we don't really know what he is, what he is, what he do, what he about, because he flip-flops so much about being down and then being on the other side of the aisle because he gotta be corporate. He because he is corporate, the corner boy with the corner office. Ain't that Jay-Z? So we're following the same corporate playbook. Hakeem Jeffries did and is doing what he needs to do. He's the senior black voice of the Democratic caucus and will be the House voice, the majority House voice when we flip. My nigga is doing only what he's supposed to do. He got to get there. How he get there, nigga? Because we don't get there. Ain't that what?
No.
Domino.
No.
Domino. Only if you're a higher black, the higher I go. Ain't that a J line?
That is
No.
true. That is what he says. That is a J line. But this is where it comes in with the title of the show, Coonery. I'm not gonna sit here and just flat out call Hakeem Jeffries a coon because I need more evidence. But I do think that he has portrayed some of his people when he has
talk about it. Talk about it.
you know, as he continues to move up and gain more power in the Democratic Party. We sent you there to represent us, and the people want Medicare for all. It's popular.
Sound like
It's one of the
sound like
most it's, the
AOC
most
to me, bro.
it's one of the most popular things that you can, you know, and AOC is fighting for it. She's over there trying to convince him. You know, at least they're working on the housing stuff together, and maybe she didn't want to ruin the housing stuff, and that's why she says she supports him. But really, though, like if the people want something, like majority of people want something, you have to at least tell us why you don't want it.
But you also in that situation that I just brought up, you gotta to get something, you have to give something, correct? So do you think Hakeem Jeffries just hopped on the housing thing for her people in the Bronx if he didn't get something? You think the hottest name in the Democratic Party endorsing Hakeem Jeffries don't come at a price? And if the price is I'm off Medicare for all, you got to be off Medicare for all. Do you not think that might be the price
for AOC to get off?
Oh, yeah.
No. AOC's main
thing. She said housing is her main thing is housing.
Stop it, brother.
Her main thing. Hold on.
She says.
AOC main thing is housing for her constituents.
No, it's not. That's part of it.
Okay. I just know that you got to give something to give. That's me. That's not me being naive. That's me knowing that this is politics. So for AOC to endorse Hakeem, for Hakeem to endorse the housing shit that she talked, the housing projections that she proposed. The housing proposals. There has to be something that had to been given up. That's
it was just her. It was just her not. Honestly, it's just her not going against him because she's one of the most popular politicians in the world. Listen, I don't listen. I want to go back to something she said. I know this is The View, but she said this. They approached her about running for president, right? Oh fuck. Let me see if I can find it. Here. Is it here?
Going to is that it?
You know, I hope he is.
That's not it. She's been asked a couple of times about this.
So glad we're on YouTube and not Twitter. The algorithm different, boy.
Huh?
Said I'm so glad we on YouTube and not Twitter. That algorithm different, boy.
Shit, man, I can't even. Let me see if I can find it.
There are a lot of people who would like you to run for president in 2028. There are others who would like you to run for the United States Senate. Senator Schumer's up in 2028. What say you about all of this?
You know, it's funny because in this op-ed that Jeff Bezos paid for in the Washington Post, there was this line that you had mentioned earlier about, well, as a potential 2028 contender, XYZ. And in the context of that, it was very clear this was a veiled threat, right? So it was the elite saying, if you want this job, you just stepped out of line. And we want you to know where the real power is. We'll make an example out of you. What's funny about that is that they assume that my ambition is positional. They assume that my ambition is a title or a seat. My ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. And
Bars.
presidents come and go. Senate, House seats, elected officials come and go. But
actually, they don't.
Single payer healthcare forever.
Single payer healthcare forever. That's what she's trying to get done. That's what she's trying to get done. It's not.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that? If you don't mind.
There are a lot of people who would like you to run for president.
When you haven't been like fantasizing about being this or that. Single parent healthcare is forever.
I'm not discrediting that, and I'm not disparaging what it is that she. But again, Charlemagne just said you can change. Adults should be able to change their mind. We just heard that Hakeem Jefferies changed his mind. Hakeem Jefferies, I'm pretty sure this year was on Medicare for all. I'm saying I'm just presenting the opposite side of this. AOC and Hakeem Jeffries are going to be in lockstep, my nigga. I don't know why we're not seeing that. If she's not running for president, she will take Schumer's
let's see
seat.
what she says. Let's hear. I want to hear what you guys say.
A living wage is forever. Workers' rights are forever. Women's rights, all of that. When you aren't attached, when you haven't been like fantasizing about being this or that since the time you were 7 years old, it is tremendously liberating because I get to wake up every day and say, how am I going to meet the moment?
Great politician, by the way.
All right. So listen, you're saying that she's lying with Hakeem Jeffries, right? I'm saying Hakeem Jeffries is clearly on the wrong side of history, right? She wants single payer health care. He says he's not for it yet, or he's not for it anymore. That does not mean that she's going to change her mind and then be on his side. I don't know why that's your thought. That's my question.
The reason why that's my thought is there's no, again, when we're making assertions, because that's what we do, clearly, right? That's what we do. There's no way that someone gets into policy or politics without wanting the title. First and foremost, you want the title because you need the title to implement the change, correct?
And what title is that, though?
Again, she just blanket. She didn't identify what title she did not want. He asked the direct question: are you running for president? Because let's run it back. Are you running for president, or are you going to take Schumer's seat? That was the fucking question. She went into politician speak and got the rah-rah behind her because, again, she is currying favor. That's real. I don't know. I'm not hold on. Put your glasses on, nigga. My shit ain't rosy. I see it. I see the play. He asked the direct question. Hey, you're receiving a lot of notoriety. 2028.
Okay. I get you. You're right. Like, she didn't answer the question.
So to my point, when she in the answer that she gave, that was part of the non-question, she says, I didn't get into this for titles. Okay, so how do you expect to make a change? Without a title, without the seat, how do you expect to make the change? By just being...
She answered it by meeting the moment. If the moment requires her to run, she will run. It's not about, I dream of becoming president. That's not her. That's what she's trying to say. It's not like I dream of becoming the Senate, leader of the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate. Like, that's not.
But I also wake up every day and I say, how can I make this country better? Right. So I'm picking apart what it is that.
Yeah.
It requires the seat. It requires the title. Respect.
There's a lot of people like Mamdani's making the country better, and he's not.
He has a title.
Yeah, so does she. She has a title now. She doesn't have to go to Senate or the presidency to continue what she's doing. That's what she's trying to say. Like, she can meet the moment where she's at and not be so beholden to these titles.
All I'm saying is that
it might require to take another step, though. Yes, sometimes.
But to my point of her again, I remember we played it on the show when she's sitting at I forgot what interview, and she's saying, I'm not backing off. When we talked about her backing Jefferies, she backed Jefferies specifically because what's important to her at the level that she's at right now is housing. At the level that she's at, who she represents, where she represents. We covered this on the podcast.
Statement thing.
Okay.
I think that's my pushback. That's it. It is important, but there's money. I think there's multiple things that are important to her. Okay. That's all. And then you're right. That's one of them. And she made a little bit of
All I'm saying is that if she's the only one to support Jefferies, and he's moving some type of way, Can she distance herself now?
I want to be clear though. There was no primary to Jefferies, so it was not a risk to not back him. Like, you know.
But it's a risk now when the House majority speaker of the caucus party is saying, I don't rock with Medicaid for all, when Democrats have been telling their constituents to vote for Democrats because we're getting Medicaid for all.
And that's the problem I have with Hakeem. You know, I think that a lot of times they are not fighting for anything. These Democrats, they are paid losers. They get into the seats. He's getting mad money for APAC. He's getting mad money from probably other corporations where he knows he's beholden to them. The difference between him and AOC is that AOC is not. She doesn't take PAC money at all. She doesn't take, she's been propped up by the people here in New York, you know, and backed by them. So that's where things get different with him and her, is that she can say what she wants to say and back the policies she wants to back, because there's no money going into her pocket from these people that might, you know, it might harm them for her to push those policies.
But my thing is that we're also not that. So me and you, we've talked about it. There's more than just APAC money, right? APAC money is specifically to Israel. We don't know what Israel. So she don't take any PAC money at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's part of the Justice Democrats. It's part of their primary focus is not to get money out of politics, actually.
So back to my original point, there has to be a split, because the traditional Democrats will always and forever take money for them to run with the lobbyists and the corporations that whatever back them and packs their pocket.
Exactly.
And if we have Democrats, so you know what I mean. So we're gonna have to switch that. You know, there's gonna have to be a situation where, you know, we're big Marvel fans, bro, right? And we don't spoil and we'll spill too much. But you watch Loki, everybody. I'm pretty sure there is a branch in the main timeline. The main timeline of traditional Democrats is to take the money. Hey, get what we can get. Take what we can take. Don't make too much noise, and always keep the sheep around the shepherd, right? Never let the sheep wander off to be wild sheep, right? You have to be within the pen if you are in the Democratic Party. And I don't really rock with that, honestly. Like, I don't really understand why there has to be money in politics, because then when you, it's just like sports analogy, bro. Why have a salary cap in basketball? Why? Niggas getting paid $400 million any fucking way. The evaluation for franchises to clearly be sold or buy in is upwards of $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 billion. Why have a salary cap that has to be circumvented? Because we got to make sure that we can get a player that's going to be able to make the money that he's going to make because of taxes, right? A nigga playing in California got to make the money other ways, because if he just get played flat out by the goddamn team, he damn near a mid-level player. He not a max player. So why have these rules in place? Why have money being put in where you can have sponsorships, you can have this, you can have that, you have all these, and it's in the CBA where there's no ability for gray area. Okay, so when we nail Kawhi to the wall, and we nail the Clippers to the wall, and we nail the richest owner in basketball ownership to the wall, what they circumvented, and then the money erases that. Why make it even in the rule books?
Okay.
It's the same thing with politics. Why make money in the rule books if niggas can take the money?
Yeah.
Like there has to be eliminated with that.
Yeah, gotta get the power back to the
Gotta
people.
be eliminated, man.
And I think that it's I'm not sure when it's gonna happen, but at some point this country's gonna have to get the power back to the people. And that's why these traditional incumbent moderate Democrats, corporate Democrats, whatever you want to call them, are on the way out, even in the red states. So
Nigga,
it's
Huey
not going
Newton
to
say,
work.
power to the people.
Exactly.
I said power to the people,
You got to
nigga.
be fighting for something, for people to say, what are you going to do for us, and to make life better. Life is fucked up for a lot of people out here. A lot of people are struggling, man, and they're working their ass off. People are working themselves to death in this country, and it's tough for a lot of people. And people want to figure out how you're going to make things better for our reality, because it's uh, it's making people sick, real talk. And we can't afford it, and that's why when you have these people like, no, I'll choose a communist before I choose a crazy moderate, or that becomes the radical thing, is to keep things the same. The radical opinion becomes to keep things the same. The radical opinion becomes to keep pushing things to more corporatism, and doing tax cuts, and oh, let's just do something like marginally good. Let's work with the ACA, and oh, we can try to see if we can make things cheaper with drug prices. Dude, it's not worked. You supported it before, Hakeem. Why not now? And you owe your constituents, you owe the Democrats of America an explanation, a firm explanation on why you don't, and an explanation on what you do support, and not some ticky tacky. Yeah, we're gonna try to lower prices. Bullshit. But yeah, man, and that's where I'm like, yeah, I can't call him a full on coon, but it's getting to the point where you almost, when you go out here and you're so passionate about APAC, but we can't, you're not as passionate about any policy that can help us in America. It really does look the type of way.
Let's talk about what else look a certain type
Yeah.
of way. Let's talk about what else look a certain type of way. We're going to maneuver over from politics to hip hop, where there's a lot of politics in hip hop, and we're going to talk about it.
For sure, for sure. All right, so you want to introduce this topic, because I got Rob Markman over here ready to explain a
Okay.
little bit. There's been a little bit of a
So
conflict, I guess, with him and
a
Act.
little backstory. Charlemagne and Akademiks about 2 weeks ago had a little back and forth, and it all stemmed because Akademiks is being sued by Rock Nation, I believe, or was deposed. I'm sorry, was deposed by Rock Nation. And so what Akademiks was stating was in that interview, to fast forward, what happened was Akademiks is saying nobody reports as a journalist anymore. Everybody is either a pundit or is from the other side and kind of represents the
I guess he's a
aspect,
journalist, right?
No. What he's saying is what to his point is, no, he states that nobody reads more court documents than him. Not even about his shit, about the dirt case, about every he pulls up documents and reads it and interprets it, and I'm not an academic fan. I'm not supporting academic at all. But what I am saying is, when it comes to hip hop journalism, we hear Joe Buttons all the time. He's not a journalist, but when we speak about assertions and having an opinion about things, Rock Nation seems to be a place where people stop. Niggas don't have no opinions about Jay, Desiree, any of their lawsuits, any of their business practices, any of their money funneling. Nobody has any kind of about that. But it spoke about, again, we had on our show Steak and Drake, or we have it with anything. Correct.
Me and
anything.
you are editorials. Like, we are essentially doing journalism, but we're editorials. We give our opinion, and that's what majority of these YouTubers and talking heads are. Even on the fucking mainstream news, there's a lot of them are editorials.
So that's what Act was. So that's Act. He said, "Yo, Lauren LaRosa, Rob Markman, Mark Lamont Hill, y'all make y'all bones as writers. Y'all not journalists. Y'all not hip hop journalists. Y'all don't go behind and try to get information on things that y'all can't get bypassed through. Either you're bought or you don't want to.
All right,
and
so
that
that
was
puts a little
asked.
framing on what's going on right now with him and Rob. So
Yes.
he called out Rob in
Yep.
that manner. Let's see
Yep.
what Rob had to say.
Have uncovered that it was Rock Nation who funded at least one of the civil suits against Stake, the gambling site Stake, Drake, Aiden Ross, Axeman, George Wynn, who runs the Akademiks TV brand account. All right. And apparently on one of Axe streams, Axe says he figured it out. He got it all figured out. And then he took to Twitter and he called on Lauren LaRosa, Mark Lamont Hill, and me to use our journalistic superpowers and to report on it. All right. Here's the tweet. I'm going to read the tweet, right? He says, just reposting this on the timeline if y'all missed my stream. I definitely didn't watch the stream. Just reposting this on the timeline if y'all missed my stream. Lauren LaRosa, Mark Lamont Hill, don't let me out journalist y'all. I expect y'all to do your due diligence or not. Punctuation all over the place, by the way. Rob Markman, you still a journalist or just a Drake hater? Question mark. So I got some time to address this today, right? This morning, I launched my latest episode of my interview series, The Best Interview Ever with Rob Markman. Guest today was Bino Rideau. We discussed his new album with Nipsey Hussle, Prolific, all right? That's the new album, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle the Great. Sat down with Bino, launched that episode this morning, but tonight I got time. Tonight, I want to address this, but y'all know the drill. First, I need y'all to like, I need y'all to subscribe, I need y'all to comment, share, hype, post, and watch. I wouldn't be here without your support, so keep supporting the channel, man. But we're gonna talk.
We need y'all to do that for us too,
nigga. Y'all the
nigga.
backstory, right? Just in case, jog y'all memory a little
Please
bit. Back on January 1st,
subscribe, and all that
I
shit.
reported on this channel about a class action civil lawsuit against Stake, the gambling site. Once again, Drake, Aiden Ross, and George Wynn. George Wynn again is the.
I want to start real quick and just say that I don't think that's fair what Act was saying about him. He's one of the people I've seen and watched pull up court records and go through the entire thing on his show. I've watched him go through the Drake lawsuit. I watched him go through the Stake and stuff, the Stake stuff. So those are two things. And I guess because it's Drake, that it's not good enough for Act.
No. The thing was, the point was, you report about court documents with Drake, bro. This Desiree shit not hitting. Desiree being an informant and running Rock Nation, or Desiree having and endangering her child while also being a Trump pardon, all that shit is facts. That's not hitting. Okay. Nobody has reported on that outside of Akademiks.
Desiree is, by the way. So
Desiree Perez is the owner and right hand man.
I've heard about her.
Carter
we talked about her in the past.
Fucking Jay-Z. Sean Carter, Jay-Z. She runs Rock Nation. She is the boss.
Okay, so she runs Rock Nation, Desiree Perez. However, she is not front facing, right? So it's not.
She pulls the strings. That's why a lot of people fear her. She's the puppet master.
Okay.
Desiree Perez has been implicated in being with the mob. That's why she was an informant. She was an informant and got a pardon by Trump because she was working on some real. She was a gangster.
Let's fast forward and see what Mark's saying about. It says not about facts.
This ain't even about me, right? It is about you. This is about y'all who watching. This is about y'all. The guy who lies to you, who will come up with the nastiest takes, who will hire clippers to spread it across the internet to manipulate whatever he wants you to believe.
Okay.
The guy who doesn't present an ounce of objectivity. The guy who created Akademiks TV and lets that account do his dirty work, dropping the most vile, nasty shit, just actively attacking folks. That's the guy saying, okay, where's the journalism now? Hey, we need the facts here now. Now the facts are on point. But it's not about facts. And it's never been about facts. It's about what story he can tell that benefits him and diminishes anyone who he believes is opposed to him. That remind you of someone? his Uncle Trump. Seriously, he calls him Uncle Trump. He's called him Uncle Trump. It feels like right out of that playbook, right? And his tweet, I mean, it wasn't serious. It's not about him wanting me or Lauren or Mark to report on whatever it is he's talking about right now, right? He don't need me for that. He don't need Lauren for that. He don't need Mark for that. He has a bunch of clippers that he pays to do that. These days, the game isn't about the truth. Sadly. It's about if you can get the internet. And when I say the internet, if it ain't real people, then it's bots. But the internet in total, because they say 50% of internet activity is botted anyway. The game is if you could get the internet to repeat your bullshit long enough till it becomes the truth, till it appears to be the truth. That's really the name of the game. It's him saying, look at how much of a victim I am. Rock Nation is out to get me, y'all. Little old me who never bothers anybody. Rock Nation is out to get me. Look at how much of a victim Drake is. Rock Nation is out to get him, y'all. And shit. We gonna see what the truth is. The truth always comes to light. The truth always comes to light. But I'm gonna wait and see if there's some more trustworthy sources. Forgive me. I'm interested in the truth. I want to know what the truth is. But forgive me. I am going to wait for some more trustworthy sources. That's just me. Y'all can do what y'all want to do, right? Y'all see it though. I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know. And again, I'm talking to y'all who watch this channel, right? Because this is the most important part here. The most important part here isn't Jay-Z or Desiree Perez, isn't Drake. The most important part is y'all. And how y'all get your information and who y'all getting your information from, because y'all deserve the truth, right? But I'm not telling you something that you don't know. What I'm telling y'all is that y'all deserve better than this shit. Overall, not just this story. I'm talking about this shit, like what we're in right now, like the current state of affairs of where we're at. Y'all deserve better than this shit. Our culture deserves better. Our stories deserve better, to be told better with high quality. Our music deserves better. Y'all, the audience deserves better. Better than someone who has built a platform and uses his media to consistently attack people, right?
But Rob, you have a platform. You speak on, you came on your shit, even though as much good shit as you do. As much, I got the interview with Bino. I broke down I got the breakdown of the battle. You came and talked about Drake's stream, nigga. You did. You didn't have to cover that shit. So you didn't have to. What I'm saying is he just talked about the stuff that what Drake did on the stream. Was that hip hop? Was that affiliated with hip hop? Did he drop any music? Was it anything to do with the great love of hip hop? It just had to have happened with a hip hop star. Cool. But everything that a sports guy does, a sports journalist does not have to cover if it don't involve the sport.
Rob just talked about comic books the other day for a whole show. He can cover whatever he wants, but he says they deserve more just because he deserves, is that going against what he said?
I'm asking if he's talking about the stuff that's been perpetuated, and if he's talking about the stuff that gets the highlight, if the stuff that gets pushed through the algorithm, the stuff that, again, he has to feed a beast of himself.
Yeah, sometimes
by tapping into it. But again, at the same time, we have this at our trough as a low tier podcast that would die for virality. Let's just be honest. We don't. I'm just. No. I know. But in real spiel though, this shit do not come across our podcast because it's something we intellectually do not feed into, right? We intellectually, again, I know me and you, we talking about, I was like, yo, you gotta, it seems like you got a little vendetta for Drake, because even though he barking at bitches, so what? That ain't got shit to do with us. That ain't got shit to do with what we doing. That ain't got shit to do with how we talking and progressing our movement and everything like that.
I do
Like,
gotta defend that with them because they represent something that I don't fuck with, and I like to highlight that. You know, I
no,
do
I mean,
think that.
but why do you
Hey,
have to
hot
highlight things
take,
that you don't fuck with?
hot
Though?
take. I think that you like these people too much, and you defend them too much. I think that
I don't highlight shit that I don't fuck with.
I think that
That's my hot take.
I think that your hot take, my hot take for you is that you don't have to defend bullshit sometimes. You know, people who are doing genuinely wrong things. You know, I like hip hop, so I'm going to see my timeline, and yeah, the Drake stuff's gonna come up, and yes, it was hip hop when he says that his pen is not dry. That is hip hop, so that's why I covered it. You know, I also covered it from an intellectual standpoint on the gambling, because I do want to highlight the negatives of this culture, just like I talk about Trump. I have a Trump watch segment because we have to be aware. I'm not going to be ignorant. I'm sorry. If you want me to come here on this podcast and only talk about the shit I
No,
like,
like I said, no. I mean, when we're talking about when we talk about ignorance again, it seems like again when I'm not defending when I say, hey, gambling's all over the place, but Drake publicizes it to the youth.
yeah,
Like what we talking
by going on those streams with Aiden Ross and all that stuff. I do think he's part of that. It's not, and I even said to you, it's not just him. You know, he perpetuates it, and maybe you disagree. Maybe you just want me to just be and say, "Oh,
I disagree." Don't mean I defend. That's the point. If I disagree, don't mean I defend. Because if I say gambling,
the audience that he puts his music to are very young. If the audience that he goes on these streams with,
I don't fit that demographic to know that.
But here's the thing: you don't have to agree with me, but the facts are the facts. The audience that he appeals to are young people, and the people that he goes on these streams for, and to push his stake, is for young people. And a guy at his level, I don't think he needs to do that for money. I don't. I think he chooses to make that part of his cause and identity. Stake and gambling and OnlyFans and all that stuff. And I would love for people who are at that big of stars to make their identity something more substance. That's where I was gonna ask my issue with him. And maybe you can't grasp that because it's I don't live in your world. I don't live in your mind. I don't live in your ideology. I don't live in your perspective. So I don't attest to the things that you feel are necessary for how things should be, because I don't live. Gambling is fine. You think that? Yes, we literally had this conversation. That, the top people that represent hip hop and whatever. I'm just asking questions, bro. Like, you asked me. Hold on. You asked me, do I care about gambling? We've already talked about it. No, I don't. I also said that you, as a fucking grown ass adult, because you don't have kids, you don't abide by that. You don't know what I mean. But we are guardians, so you do understand guardianship, nigga. We are responsible. Yeah. And nobody and no. So again, we're talking about defending. I, as a grown ass man, like gambling. I, like a grown ass man, have DraftKings. So I like gambling. I don't like the fact that somebody that you say, again, I don't agree with that you say that he is perpetuating gambling. That's what it is, and that's fine. Because again, I'm not just something I made up, But okay, you again for something that we're speaking about. When you say that Drake, as the largest hip hop guy and is reaching out to a younger audience, I did not even disagree with that point. But the point that I'm speaking of, the point that I'm disagreeing of. No, just a second ago, you said that you disagreed. I said I'm not that demographic. I'm not that demographic. You said when you brought it up that I said that he peddles it to the youth, and you said that you disagree with it. That's why you just said a second ago. Or yes, because when he's pushing stake, I'm not. If I'm watching the stream, I'm not a fucking 8-year-old. And I don't have an 8-year-old next to me. I'm not a 12-year-old, and I don't have a 12-year-old. Or did you just catch slips? No, that's the point. I am the person that likes Drake in the demographic as a grown-ass man. One person, bro. But what I'm saying is, again, this guy has millions of fans, and it's not like he went and did a stake gambling movie, script, or a TV show, or just a commercial on HBO or a adult place. No, he went to the Nelk Boys, and he went to Aiden Ross to do these
So,
things because they work
so
together
does
with
he
State.
have to?
This is a
So,
intentional
so,
grooming
so
process. That's
okay,
not just him;
okay.
it's State. And
I,
you
I,
roll
I,
your eyes as if it's not
I
happening.
have to,
And
I
it's
have to, I
frustrating
have to,
because
I have to bow down because yes, let me be on the opposite fucking side
it's
of
not about
grooming,
being on the
Chidi.
opposite side. It's
Like,
not
what
about
do you
being on the
mean?
opposite side. Because people like to say, "Oh, it's my opinion." It was the opposite side. There are facts that lead you down this line of like, dude, this is the Democrat that watched this show. It's just not grown men that watch this show. This is where they're putting the gambling ads. Now you're throwing in OnlyFans for these kids. This is what they're doing, and you want to be so adamant about it because
I'm not
I'm
so
making points
adamant
that you
because
disagree
again, as
with.
a clip, hold on, I'm so adamant because again, my algorithm shows the clips of State. It shows Academic. It shows Drake. It shows Max Holloway, a UFC fighter.
You're not the only person that's a Drake fan.
I'm
That's my
not
point.
saying that, Chidi. What I'm saying is I don't fucking know a kid's algorithm. So I don't know that it's pushed to kids. I don't watch Aiden
Do
Ross.
you know? Okay, fine. You don't. But if I'm telling you, you can look it up. His age range. Dude, we talked about it last time. So I'm sitting here with you a week later, and you're still arguing with me about the same thing that we looked
Bro,
up.
I found information out last week, and I got a fucking jump on board
No,
that
no,
says
no, no,
yes,
no, no.
Drake is
Listen,
peddling and being predatory to kids, bro.
Dude, you
Like
are a fan of Drake. I get it. So maybe you can't put the two together.
I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of Drake. I'm not saying a fan. I'm not even saying a fan of Drake. I'm saying let's make me a fan of UFC. Let's make me a fan of UFC. I watch Max Holloway. Max Holloway is a UFC champion. I'm saying I don't know that, Chidi, when you're saying that I have to jump on board with that thought process. That's all I'm saying. I'm not fucking arguing the fact that, because I'm a Drake fan, I don't want to. What I'm saying is.
But when I bring these topics up, I don't go on just a whim, bro. I'm telling you,
I didn't
hey
say
guys,
you.
hey,
I didn't say
so,
you did.
So
I'm just
saying I looked it up real time on the pod. Hey, this is what his age range is. It's from 14 to 20 something. That's the people they're targeting. And then if you watch the Monday show last week, listen, real quick. The Monday show last week, I went through the entire Steak history and their marketing strategy. And maybe you didn't watch that part, but this is not something that I'm just throwing out there. I'm saying that Drake has a choice to work with these guys, and he does. That's the only point.
I'm not arguing again what you presented, Chidi. Again, I just said what I was making my point is I live in a society that I choose to, as a person that has a choice about who I am entertained by. I am also entertained by Drake's music. I am entertained by Shannon Sharp, who again, when I'm watching Ray Lewis say, Shannon promoting alcohol when I know Shannon is my entire life not to take a sip of alcohol, meaning that he's playing a game to get I'm watching people again. Exactly. So I have as a person understand that there will never be a place in politics without money. When we're saying that there will never be a place of entertainment without hypocrisy, I don't abide. So when we're
you're
speaking
gonna make way more money than me, I guess.
No. But
because I don't operate from that standpoint.
But to my point, so what I was about to say, Aiden Ross. I've heard of the guy. Never knew how young he was. Never know what he does. Has he ever had OnlyFans on his stuff previously before?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, so my point is, so my thing is, I'm not circling or penciling or grouping Drake bringing that audience
This is
to
why
Aiden Ross.
I give a lot of credit to the Cosmonauts, the Speeds, because they have a way of going about rising in the streaming world without going to the lowest common denominator of sex, violence, drugs, gambling, all these things that if you don't understand it, but listen, energy, bro, energy. These kids are watching these for hours long, because they love Aiden Ross. He's just so entertaining. They love. Oh, now they got Drake. I gotta tune in for that. So this is what they are watching for hours and inundating into their brain. It's a brain diet. It's a mental diet. And hey, some people don't see it that way. They see it as well.
No, I just
no,
not even that. I won't argue that. What I will ask is, when Akademiks made his claim to fame talking about the violence in Chicago, was he highlighting that? Was he praising that? Was he calling like, yo, this shit is stupid?
No,
or was
he was definitely highlighting that shit. Me and you called him a plant, bro.
He was right. So he highlight. But
I watched Akademiks before you, and you're like, I remember we'd be roommates. I was like, yo, watch.
I'm like, yo, that nigga,
and you're like, he's a plant. And I
Kid.
stopped watching it because I started realizing, yo, you're right. He's a fucking plant. He's a grifter, and that's the thing. When I call out grifters on this podcast, for some reason, it's like,
it's not even you calling out them.
It's an issue.
It's not. Hold on. It's not calling out the grifters. It's the action of where they're grifting from. If we're talking about the root, let's talk about the root. So my thing is, I don't want to talk about the reaction. Let's talk about the action.
I got you.
So when we're calling out grifters, I don't mind calling out the grifters. But what I am saying is that the violence in Chicago, when Akademiks is perpetuating that, and then we have the right wing saying
because they got hyped up because of his shit, and they were like,
did people really die because of Ak, or niggas really died because of the streets?
Absolutely, I heard that people who are listening to Ak, and it instigated more violence. Now, granted, I don't have the exact. No. I get you. I remember this almost.
I'm only asking.
Don't quote me, like allegedly. So at the end of the day, but I remember people saying and coming onto their IG lives and saying, yeah, you said, I heard from Ak.
So I agree with you. Tekashi took that. It took Ak's flow bar for bar, right? When Von got killed, Tekashi did a podcast with Akademiks and Whack 100 and was like, yo, why them niggas ain't slide for Von? Tekashi invoked Dirk, who is on trial right now, murder for hire trial, because Dirk felt some type of way because he heard a nigga challenge him not sliding for his nigga, and then not only slid for his nigga, rapped about it. So my thing is, Akademiks can't only report on what ain't in the music. If y'all niggas is out there sliding and being gangs and doing OTF, he is only reporting on what you are reporting on in the music. So it's still the action. It's still, you are out there actively murdering niggas before Ak was reporting on it.
It does matter in the manner in which you talk about it. You know, it's not like he said, hey guys, cautionary tale, listen, we really don't want people sliding on each other in the hood, but this is sad that has come to this. You know, we lost one again. You know, he's trying to understand, like, yo, he's almost encouraging it till to this day. Niggas like, yo, yeah, you might have to slide on somebody. You know, like, you know, this is how he talks.
Okay, so this goes back to not like us, right? The indoctrination of being in a place, in a space that you're not from. Correct? We've already said that Akademiks is a plant. So clearly he's not from the space or place of, yo.
So he's imitating it.
Exactly. But he's only imitating what has been elevated. So we're also talking about like Akademiks does not get to the prevalence of highlighting murder music if 300 Entertainment or whatever them niggas assigned to does not promote and perpetuate and make platinum rappers out of murder music.
You're right.
That's my thing. True. So when we're also back to the Drake point, I get Drake is childish. I get Drake has a choice. I get Drake is not elevating himself as a fort. But again, we also are a fan of Iron Man. That nigga was fucking hoes and bitches, being a philanthropist, billionaire. What was it? What's his line?
He wasn't on Disney Channel when he was doing that. Or Nickelodeon doing that. That's my point. You know, he can do all that. It's Aiden Raw. But that's my thing.
It's not
to that degree. But
that also
or MTV.
Back to that.
He wasn't on MTV doing that. Let's put it that way.
But thank you. Let's use that. If it was on MTV, I'm coming from a household.
Yeah, I will have a problem with it still.
Not even to have a problem with it. I'm talking about me as an adolescent in this age group that we're talking about, 12, 14, 13, 14, 15. I still would be checked on what I was watching.
That's you. And you're right. But
I know, but
last week, I was like, it's extremely hard because every single kid, it doesn't matter how old they are, has one of these. And if they love Roblox, they're gonna get on Roblox. If they love Kai Cenat, they're gonna find Kai Cenat. If they love Aiden Ross and his racist ass, they're gonna find him too.
But is that not a but it's not
so when Drake aligns with these fuckity fuck niggas that I feel like are against everything good about society and are promoting the negative things, whether it be Trump, whether it be drugs, whether it be, overt sexual shit, over all the fucking money and gambling.
But is there not a place in the world for that though, Chidi?
Is there not a place in the world for that? I think
is there not a place in the world for people who want to engage in what it is that Drake represents?
I don't think this should be publicized on streams to kids, personally. I think
I get that, but see, this is where you handcuff me. Yes, to kids. Now, again, to your point, I am understanding now what you're saying.
And
again,
Drake with his platform, I think he's jumped the shark, bro. I think Drake is one of the corniest niggas alive because he has such power and wields it in such a foolish way. I do believe that. And
my gosh, bro, niggas had Hannah Montana dolls as Miley. Nobody talks to Miley Cyrus like this, bro. Nobody looks at Miley Cyrus.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, they do.
Really?
Especially her. Yes.
Really? Niggas call Miley, but they
until she changed her image, they fucking call her out all types of shit. Go look it up. Jake needs to change his fucking image. I mean, so like at this point, like it's almost like a caricature when I watch Drake. It's cringy as fuck. Yeah, you might like his music and sing it all the time and enjoy it, but he's not a grown-ass man doing this shit. He shouldn't be doing this shit as a grown-ass man, and it's foolish. If you were doing this shit, I would call you out on this shit too. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing barking for the white girls on the fucking stream, bro? Like, what are you doing?
And I would send you a picture like Days do. I would send you a picture like Days do on Discord, and I'm like, look at her. She can play Black Cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get you. So let's compartmentalize. Let's compartmentalize. Okay, hold on. I know, Chidi, but let's compartmentalize this. If I'm I get you. Me, best friend, not married, one kid, buku rich. I'm just living Playboy life. Honestly, you would hit my line and say you have a problem with it, but would you have a real problem with it if we're giving all that encompassing to it? You know I'm black. You know what I do for you know me. You know me. I'm not talking about what the public. So you're telling me
at some point, we're going different ways. Because I do believe that you have a side to you that's way more conscious than you're representing. Oh, I got all this weed, I got all these bitches, I got all this jewelry, and I'm on these streams doing just whatever and not caring about what's really going on the ground floor for real people. Yes, it's going to be a point where me, who does care, and is going to elevate with that caring, is gonna go separate ways with you. I might love the hell out of you as a brother, but I just like that's him. That's his choice.
No.
He chooses to use his power that way.
Okay. I listen. I with that, I stand down. But what I will say is that I again to the pedo situation or to the predatory situation. These are two things that we're putting on the man about kids. I'm being dead ass.
Maybe he doesn't see it, but there is something there too with both of them. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not saying that he actually is a fucking pedophile. I'm not saying that he's intention. Actually, the kids thing with the gambling stuff, I think he knows. I'm sorry, like there's no way you sign up for this shit, and he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And shit with the pedophile stuff, he might not care either because he's made weird comments multiple times about women that are underage, so I don't know who this nigga really is on when the cameras are not around, but who he is when the cameras is around is questionable to say the least. So I don't really vibe with that guy's energy. I'm a person who looks at the world in this place where there really is a spiritual battle going on between good and evil. And in a matter of how you have respect for yourself and people and how you treat people and how you want to now elevate the consciousness of this planet. There is going to be a fight where people are going to just fight for all the wrong things. And it's happening in our politics. It's happening in our music industry with Ack and Rob Markman. It's happening fucking everywhere, bro. If you don't wake up, you don't see. You can't see. If you can't really pay with Stephen A. Smith, it's the same fucking argument, dude. We counted on you, and this is what you do with your platform. You know.
Yeah.
And then when we call you out on it, where you run to Fox. So it's like, that's who you really are at the end of the day, you know? So you can't play both sides, and it's coming to that point where you got to pick a side, you know? But that's just how my look at it is. And it's not
I honestly, bro, I can't even, you know, with that conversation, you know,
you got to care about people, man. At some point, you got to care about your who you like. I got to a point where I'm like, my nephews and my nieces and everything. It matters how I present myself in front of them. It matters how I show. I can't not care about how they see men in this world as they grow. I can't not care about how my godsons and my nephews look at me when I come down to see. Next time I come, I want to be able to bring them something to make sure they know that I care about them and they're uplifting. If you don't care about the people that you are influencing, music is one of the most influential things. Those vibrations seep into your brain, and that's how you think, and how you feel, and how you drive. What drives you sometimes, and that mental diet matters. It does matter, and I think the people are just super frivolous about that kind of stuff. So yeah, I get it. Maybe I am too, I don't know, whatever, uppity or whatever, or I talk about things I don't like too much or whatever. But I can't help it because I care about the way
I think
the world moves.
It's fair. It's fair when itemized and broken down, you know, and given the situation of where it is that we're at currently, because in truth to be told, there's spiritual warfare. And when someone had but to our point, always, there's plenty of times that you and I have spoken, you say, and to your point, I'll agree with you, but you would say, I don't give a fuck about celebrity. Like that, they don't move or sway how I go. But we also know that that's not the rest of you. Like you say, Chris, you're one person. So Chidi, you're one person with that. Right. So for me and you, I vibe and I align with you of, I'm not really
and it's not fully
influenced
true.
too
Like I'm
much.
sure I care about some celebrities, and
Correct,
you know,
correct.
I'm human, you know. So like I know that
Correct.
you know, things are gonna just catch my eye because familiarity. I'm American. I grew up in this country. Celebrity is fame is pushed. Even Travis Scott was it Travis Scott or was it somebody else? No, it was Young Thug was at like some kind of place, a college or something, and saying fame is the most important thing, which is a bad to me. It's a bad thing to say to kids. Like he's like doesn't matter. Fame is the most important thing, and it's just damn. We're losing our education. We're losing treating people kind and respect. We're losing any respect for elderly and taking care of them. We're losing all types of traditions that are going to that really it's going to be this dog eat dog world where people just fucking apocalypse and people take advantage of each other and people scam and people gamble and people like you know that's what it's turned into. People just you get scammed by a girl in Miami because she's an OnlyFans model and you paid her and she didn't sleep with you. Like it just that's what it's turning into. It's like these weird shit, and then it's gonna make people feel bad because you're just not a man. You're not good enough. You need more money to get more girls. Like the manosphere stuff. It's just toxic bullshit that I can see a definitive. But I hear somebody talk, I can hear the spirit. I can see the spirit almost.
Well, Chidi, I hear, but to your point though, this is where I always push back, and I know you say someone has to be the bell curve and the change, right? The perpetual nature of what has been pushed is the world that we grew up in, and those are the people that are shaping the world, right? I do remember Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. That's hot. And I'm having 8th grade girls from Buffalo in the fruit belt, ghetto bitches that wear 2 belt buckles. You know them joints that come from the fat. You know what I'm saying? Talking about that's hot. Yeah, bitch, that is not. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But what
we're
I'm saying
influenced
is,
by what we see. Yeah, our environment.
and,
Yeah,
but those people have grown up. Those influential and those influenced people have grown up and possibly whatever line of work that they're in became influential, whether that be teaching or healthcare or police force. Like that generation of influential people or being influenced is something that now is passed down. Where we see these kids go to school, right? I don't know if you just saw the post. Niggas wearing all types of fake Balenciagas and bust down Cardis and Goyard bags to go to school for what? So we can have another conversation about a nigga getting shot or a nigga getting into a fight or nigga get it, but that's a parent thing. That's a nigga. I tell Ivan all the time, my kids are 7, 5, and 10 months. If you don't take your ass to motherfucking to Walmart and get these motherfucking sneakers, rather than being on Nike.com trying to get sneakers in these boys. Are you fucking bitch? I could get $60 sneakers. These niggas don't need $60 sneakers. I could get some $60 sneakers. You know what I'm saying? And if she does that young, for me as a boy, as a man, if she does that young, she's gonna have hell on her hand. But she's gonna have hell on her hand, a teenager, bro. Trying to keep up with the Joneses
because they're not gonna feel good enough because they
exactly,
always had it, you know?
exactly,
and that's
exactly.
what we want to get away from, you know. And
exactly,
I hear you,
exactly.
That's what Rob is kind of talking about too. That people deserve more, and that's where I want to go. Even though we got to play the game to feed the medicine. You know, I talked about Drake too. You know, because I feel like, oh, this is gonna get the medicine out there. And what did I do? I pivoted into a whole thing about gambling with stake, you know, and where they came from. And then I also, you know, talked about how his image is not really helping anybody. You know, who are you feeding, bro? You know, if you listen to K Dot, watch the party die. Anybody listen to me right here, right now? Go listen to K Dot, watch the party die. It's really poetic, and what he's talking about is where we are in the culture of hip hop. And he says something about, I want to pull up the lyrics real quick because I don't want to misread it, but it's about feeding the youth. And I feel that shit, you know, and that's why I'm so passionate about that. And when I see people who are playing the game for the clicks alone, like, don't get me wrong, I want clicks too, but it feels like for the clicks alone, like we talk about Stephen A. Smith and the whole him being, you know, getting the thumbs down award, and he talked to the president, and he's like, "You should come on my podcast." And we talked about. She's like, "I don't think that's where we start. I think we should have a one-on-one conversation, and then I can come on if we can do it. We can do that publicly too. But I think we should start with a one-on-one conversation." He didn't he didn't want to do that, so he went to Fox and he lambasted the entire organization. You know, and it's like,
wait. Who didn't want to do that? I'm sorry. What happened?
Stephen A. did. So she said to Stephen A., "I don't want to go on your podcast to discuss this before we talk one-on-one."
But why did you give him? The award publicly without talking to him privately? If you wanted to talk to him privately all along, then why don't you talk to him privately?
That's how they do it. Even Roland Martin gave CNN the award one year while he was working with CNN. So it's a real. I can bring it up so you can see how they go about doing it, but it's meant to hold people accountable on how they discuss black topics and how they criticize black people, right? And
Roland Martin has an ability to change how they talk about black people on that network as he's working there, correct? So did he give himself that, or was it just the people that wasn't him?
It was a specific story, but CNN got the award one year. But he voted for it while he was working there. So let me. He can say it better than I can. Let me see. I'm not sure if this is the video, but I'm gonna try. Okay, let me see here.
Why you ain't got no hair up there? Boy, you looking like a basketball.
Wait, before we go, do you want to show the act response?
If you want, it's on you. You said you wanted to see it live, so I'll if you I don't know, we depending on if you if you want to use it as the post show, we can use it as a post show as you wrap up. You can just watch it as the show loads in the drive and shit like that. You can watch it then.
Listen, guys, we will be coming out with a newsletter on the Patreon. So these post-show things and reactions will be on there. Just fourth quarter, just look out because there is gonna be extra content.
When we say is YouTube closed, and I be like, is he a Jew? Yeah, that's gonna be on the Patreon, kid.
All right, let's move on to the NABJ.
I ain't never taking no APAC money, nigga. See a Jew?
All right. So this is Roland Martin, who is a part of the NABJ organization, the National Association for Black Journalists.
Even though I am listening.
He explains the award. Before we get into this, I want to just say, you say it to the camera first and foremost. Sorry, my anxiety is getting to me. All right. I know I call Stephen A. coon. I don't like the way he moves with the power he has and wields as it pertains to the Black community. There's a way that you can lift somebody up and still teach them a lesson without browbeating them every single time. But it seems like he chooses the stick when it comes to Black people, and he chooses to lift the hand when it comes to a lot of white people. From what I've seen, unless it's like obvious that, like the Laura Loomer stuff, like we're you shouldn't be using ChatGPT, but or Claude, whatever. When those situations are obvious, and even that is like, oh, ha ha ha, jokey stuff. But he tends to have the stick for Black people and beat them down when it comes to time where he can, as a man, we should all look up to, honestly, lift him up. And that's my biggest problem with him. And I know I call him a coon, and he's one of the people that I do believe is a Republican who wants everybody to vote Republican because he does not see the forest through the trees when it comes to how capitalism is not working for Black people in America. I do think this hurts him. I do think there's a part, unlike certain other Black people, I do think there's a part of Stephen A. that genuinely wants to be embraced by Black people. I don't think that wins over the other side of him, but I do think that part exists, and he gets upset when we call him out on the Coonery stuff because he doesn't see it that way. He looks at it as him just being an open-minded free thinker who has his own opinion, which I think is another white supremacist talking point, because some things are, yes, your opinion, but it's more of like, why does it always have to reflect that white supremacist, narrow viewpoint rather than the wide scope of things when it comes to Black history in this country? And that's where I think he misses the point. So I'm going to play this. I want to let you guys see Roland Martin and the hopefully, actually no, this is a 7-minute clip. I need to go back to this right here, I think. Yeah. And we'll see how he explains the award and how he explains how this came about, and he brings on the president to talk about it as well. So we'll fast forward through that.
National Association of Black Journalists had their Salute to Excellence Awards Gala, and at the gala announced the 5 awardees of the NABJ Thumbs Down Award. Roll it.
2026 NABJ Thumbs Down Award. Each year at its annual convention, NABJ presents the Thumbs Down Award to an individual or organization whose actions, reporting, or institutional practices have significantly undermined fair, accurate, and inclusive journalism about Black communities, or have otherwise acted in ways fundamental.
See that? Let's hear that again real quick. that undermines fair, accurate,
Institutional practices have significantly undermined fair, accurate, and inclusive journalism about black communities, or have otherwise
accurate, and inclusive journalism about black communities.
acted in ways fundamentally at odds with NABJ's mission and values. The award recognizes conduct that harms black journalists, weakens newsroom equity or editorial independence, reinforces damaging portrayals of black people, or compromises the public service mission of journalism. This year, we have chosen to highlight 5 recipients to reflect the breadth of harmful actions against black journalists and across our profession. Brendan Carr, chair of the Federal Communications Commission. Since assuming leadership of the FCC, Carr has repeatedly used the agency's regulatory authority in ways that have raised serious concerns about press freedom and editorial independence. His actions have targeted news organizations through licensing scrutiny, while amplifying efforts to pressure media and communications companies to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dewan McCoy, owner, president, and CEO, Circle City Broadcasting, parent company of Wish TV. McCoy's leadership has been the subject of multiple allegations regarding the treatment of black journalists, raising serious concerns about workplace equity, newsroom culture, and professional accountability. These reports are directed at prominent black women across politics, sports, and commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent black women across politics, sports, and media. Such commentary reinforces harmful narratives, undermines the fair and respectful representation of black women in public discourse, and stands in direct conflict with NABJ's long-standing commitment to accurate, responsible, and inclusive portrayals of black communities.
What was said Saturday night by NABJ's president, Dr. Aaron Haynes.
NABJ bestows its Thumbs Down Award on an individual or an organization whose actions undermine fair and accurate coverage of black communities, reinforce racist or stereotypical narratives, or advance practices that conflict with NABJ's mission and values. This year, I believe it is especially important to understand this award in a larger context. At a moment when journalism is facing growing political, economic, and institutional pressure, the stakes extend beyond any single offensive statement, newsroom decision, or individual journalist. Decisions about who owns media, who controls newsrooms, which journalists and beats receive investment, and which reporters can work without political or corporate interference, shape what stories get told.
Not the other 4 awardees. Stephen A. Smith dropped a 44-minute video on his YouTube channel. Here is some of his response.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Stephen A. I'm on vacation. I've been out of the mix the last few days because I'm busy about to send my daughter to college. And while I was hanging out with her for dinner on Saturday night, I saw that the National Association for Black Journalists gave me a Thumbs Down award. Now I know there's a lot of people
So they blindsided
that
my
are
man.
expecting me to go nuclear. And the reality of the situation is I just might. But at this particular moment, that's not my inclination. I want to tell you, first off, before I say anything, I heard them loud and clear. I'm listening. I'm far from perfect. And I will always strive to do better on behalf of my community, for the journalism community, and beyond, in the days and the weeks and the years to come. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to address what was said about me with the fervor.
Quick question. Hold on, Chidi. Quick question. Is that not a level of accountability, or does he need to have that as a period and go on about his day? Can he not express his feelings about how he feels?
No, he can express his feelings. I think that people should express their feelings, honestly. I think that's true. I'm cool. I'm cool with everything he says.
Okay.
You know, like.
Okay. I just wanted to know, because when I heard that, he let off the right thing to say, and he was very specific when he said.
He does call it bullshit. So
yeah, listen, Aaron got up there looking very eloquent, very Afrocentric, very what it is, and had a very eloquent speech of why this award is what it is, and then gave it to a person that has been a part of the organization for 32 years. So right. I do feel that he should feel some type of way about that. That's just me. Okay. All right.
Because even though I heard you, even though I am listening, even though I will always strive to do better. That doesn't negate the bullshit that the NABJ did Saturday night or Friday night, whichever night it was, I believe.
Again, you can go to Stephen A. Smith's YouTube channel. You see his full response. Now, for disclosure, I am the current Vice President Digital for NABJ. This is the 4th time I've served on the board of directors. First as National Student Representative, second as Secretary, previously as VP Digital. When the board had its deliberations over our special awards, I actually was traveling, giving a speech, did not participate in the vote, wasn't aware of the awardees. And when I was sitting there at the dinner on Saturday, I found out just like the rest of the membership. But the reason I wanted to have this conversation, because a lot of people have been commenting and they don't know what they're talking about. And let me just walk you through this before I bring on my 2 guests. The Thumbs Down Award was first given out in 1989, folks. So we have the full list for you, so you understand. There have been 44 awardees, 7 individuals. Let's start. Last year, 2025.
Oh, God, we don't have to go through all that. Let me fast forward. We get it. Been a lot of awardees.
The Animals to Chicago gang members. 1991, Mike Barnacle, the Boston Globe Cannon, the current NABJ president, Aaron Haynes, also NABJ co-founder and former president and longtime journalist, columnist, former chair of the Global Communications at Morgan State University, Dwayne Wickham. Glad to have both of y'all here. Not only protocol, you go to the current president, but when you got a founder and a former president, and the person who first gave the award out, we're going to start with him. So Dwayne, the award first started when you were president of NABJ. Explain to people why this was created.
Let me say 2 things in advance of that. First of all, I am so proud of our president, Aaron Haynes, for the courage that it took. And I wasn't in those board meetings.
You haven't even heard what he had to say.
What's frustrating is that before Stephen A. did his soliloquy, and we're about to disparage him for going on Fox News and running the Fox News, he reached out to these people to speak and do exactly what they're doing.
Maybe you have a different opinion after they said.
I'm saying that why didn't they speak to Stephen A? That's still my whole your broadcast.
They're open to talk to Stephen A. They are. Let's hear it out.
Privately. From previous board meetings that I've attended, she probably got some pushback. It took a lot of courage. I want to say that. I want to say something to you, Roland. You know, we say that journalism is the first rough draft of history. Well, people want to know the history of what has occurred in NABJ as it relates to the Thumbs Down Award. They can only come to you. That list you just read off will probably not appear anywhere else in journalism in this nation. It's important for people to understand how important you are to our efforts to get the news out and to be thorough in our approach to the that spurred me to think about making an award, creating an award to tackle these issues that relate to the disparaging, denigrating remarks about Black folks. It was in 1984, as you know very well, that Jesse Jackson got in trouble.
Young
I want to hear what Aaron has to say.
With our board of directors last Tuesday. He brought that up. And Joe Davidson, one of our co-founders, also brought that up as well. And Joe was paraphrasing, and I happened to actually go find the story. And so any of y'all listening, don't get offended what I'm about to tell y'all, because I'm quoting here. They were on a plane, and he was asked the question, he asked the question, why can't the Republican Party attract Black voters? And this is what he said. I'll tell you what the coloreds want. It's 3 things. First, a tight pussy. Second, loose shoes. And third, a warm place to shit. That's literally what he said. And actually, the person who asked him why the GOP can't attract Black voters was the singer, Pat Boone. And so that's where that first started. Dwayne referenced Lim Tucker. Yes, it was CBS. This is a New York Times article where he made those comments. Merv Osman, my Alfred brother, he was the president at the time. Okay. I was working for CNN when I voted to give nation. But I also said, when I previously situation, don't forget that color still plays a role in helping us get a job in this industry. But remember that once we are there, we are journalists. And so, y'all, this ain't the first time. And let me be clear before I go to Aaron. I told you that I did not participate in the vote. I just want to give you that fact. I'm not running away from the board's decision. As a board member, you speak for the organization. But I also said, previously situation, I was at CNN. I was working for CNN when I voted to give that award to CNN. And I remember another board member challenged me, who's also at CNN, saying, how dare you vote on this because you work there? And I said, and I was in position to actually get a show. It was in my contract. And I said, when I sit on the board of NABJ, I do not represent my personal interest. I represent the interest of the organization. And if you come to the board and you bring your personal interest, then you're doing a disservice to the members. And so, Aaron, I'll go to you.
Before we go to Aaron, do you agree with that? Like when you represent NABJ, you don't represent your personal interests, right? You represent the board, so and the public.
Stephen A. felt like this was personal from his feelings. And from we've had conversations over several things, and the show is Coonery and everything like that. I've always presented just another side of everything, but disparaging has a real distinct definition. Do we agree? Yeah. Out of all that we spoke about, has it been disparaging?
What Stephen A. said?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then I sit with you on that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
I sit with you on that. Okay.
This decision, first of all, was a record 5 awardees. Again, I wasn't there when the conversation was taking place. Why was it so important to you and the board to give out these five awards, and specifically include Stephen A. on that list?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, thanks for being so willing to unpack the history of this organization and of this award specifically. I just listening to Founder Wickham, former president, laying out the rationale for wanting to create this award. I mean, it is really in the spirit of our bold and visionary founders and past presidents that I felt that it was important to talk about this now. I mean, when you look at who we named this year, I think we have to agree that there's a clear through line. We're looking at the forces that make it harder for Black journalists to do their jobs and harder for Black communities to be covered fairly and fully, right? That includes government officials that are exerting their pressure on the press, news organizations that are making decisions that weaken diversity and coverage, media owners who are facing questions about the treatment of Black journalists who we know are under attack by internal and external forces across this country. And also influential commentators whose rhetoric can reinforce harmful narratives about Black people, particularly Black women. Now, you know me, we've been on this board together for a year now, and I've been very clear that advocacy is central to my presidency, particularly advocacy around Black women in our profession. So that means defending Black journalists when they are targeted, but it also means challenging institutions or individuals when necessary, as well as creating opportunities for our members to thrive. So those things aren't separate from one another. They are all part of protecting the future of Black journalism. And so that really is the spirit in which this award was bestowed, not only on Stephen A. Smith, but the 4 other recipients that we chose to recognize this year.
I often say, Aaron, that we live in this attention economy. And it's very telling how so much discussion has been solely about NABJ giving the award to Stephen A., but ignoring the FCC chair, who has literally told companies, I will not approve any of your mergers or acquisitions for the companies that have oversight with the FCC if you don't get rid of DEI. Yeah. They right now, the FCC is threatening to pull the licenses of Disney-owned TV stations because they don't like their coverage. CBS, what they've done, the Washington Post, pulling the editorial, endorsing.
A great point, but let me move forward because you guys can go check it out and get the full scope. But I want to hear what she has to say about this.
What was the point though? I mean, the point was being made that the spectacle is being made, and I think that goes back to the highlight portion of, or the clickbait portion of where we live at. I'm not just, again, here we go, the word disparaging, right? Because I just looked up synonyms. I think the biggest one that we can say out of the synonyms that was just given to me is probably more belittling, derogatory, deprecating, demeaning, critical. I believe Stephen A. has been for critical, and also the tone has been negative, and it has been mocking. I would agree to that. So when we're using the definition of disparaging, I will sit, because again, but the reason why I ask that is because for me, the pure definition of it is expressing the opinion that something or someone is of little worth, value, or importance. For me, at face value of that definition, I did not believe disparaging fit the bill for how he spoke. I did not
But with
believe that
everything else
he
he
had.
said,
I'm just out of all the thing. They gave him an award for disparaging black women. It's not because he was pushing the narrative of black people or against or even black men. It was disparaging against black women specifically. So when Roland is making an argument and saying that as I'm on the board, I don't get personal feelings get in the way. As a black woman sitting on the board, it's really hard for me to look at that and say that you don't take that personally, as he has Jamel Hill. I said it. The same fervor that you have for Michelle Hill is not the same fervor that you have for Michelle Beto. But then when he dedicates the whole hour to Michelle Beto and eviscerates her, nobody comes and clips it up. It just goes on by. When everybody, when he does what he's asked about to do.
Here's the thing, like the Michelle Beto thing, it came out first of all after all this stuff with the black woman, and he's done this in the past with black women. But the thing about it with him is that the Michelle Beto thing is more of a personal wreck, one-on-one. Me and you got an issue. We talked about each other, bro. The way he talks about black women, it's just not. It's not good. It's not good. I don't. Like, I remember seeing it. I'm trying to find it, when he calls her out, but damn, I can't find the exact clip.
What, when he calls Jasmine Crockett out?
Yeah. So you can revisit.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Go ahead and finish your point. I'll see if I can find it.
But yeah. Actually, let's see more of what she has to say.
All right, go ahead, and I'll work executive producer.
Results of some of the decisions that have been made there in the past year. We're talking about black ownership, right? The Dewan McCoy, that recognition. We need our local journalists who are in news outlets across the country to know that we're not just focused on what's happening with the most high-profile places, right? Like, we are also focused on the places where people, are working in whose names we don't know. That we want people to know that NABJ is also a watchdog, and that we are watching. Whether that is from the places that everybody does know or the places that people may not necessarily know. So, I think all of this is cumulative, Roland. This has been the work that we've been doing this entire year. And so, I think that what we did Saturday night was absolutely in keeping with not only what NABJ has been doing for 51 years, but certainly what we've been doing over the past year.
Before I go to Dwayne, this is Dewan McCoy, owner of Wish, Circuit City Broadcasting, parent company Wish TV in Indianapolis. He has responded, giving him that award troubling. And so that's his response. Dwayne, earlier you talked about courage. And look, it's not always easy. And even when we have voted, there have been dissension. I remember in 2011, when we gave that award to CNN and all those networks, a former president actually violated our protocol and went and told NBC that they were getting the award. NBC was not happy. And because of that person's action, we actually took a second vote and ratified that decision. The president at the time would not issue the press release announcing the thumbs down. In fact, Aaron was on that next board. I left. She was on that next board, and it took that president 9 months to release the thumbs down award, and he had to be forced to release it by his own board. And it was dropped on a Friday night, but we know stories are buried. And you often have people say, oh my God, we can't do this because we're going to lose sponsors. And these are people who have supported us. And I remember when Jeff Zucker was pissed off when we went after him and CNN, and he said, we're not going to go to NABJ, but they were there the next year. We've had companies, you've been in those rooms where companies have been fighting with us and upset with our criticism. But the reality is, if you study that list of 44 awards, many of those folks, even the people who got hit 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, they were back sponsoring because they understood what our role has been in calling balls and strikes in journalism.
Yeah, and we must continue to call balls and strikes. Listen, we are under attack. Black America is under attack. We should make no bones about this. And it's not simply about attacking journalists. Black America is under attack. This whole white replacement thing that's going on among folks on the other side of this issue, we have to struggle to make sure that we can hold off these forces, these enemies at our gate. And we have to hold them off and then find a way to defeat them. And while we're at it, we need to understand that we cannot defeat the enemies at the gates if we do not take on and defeat the enemies within. And so the challenge is great. That's why I said I'm so proud of our president, because she didn't just issue a press release, not even a timely press release. She stood up in front of an assembled group of journalists and our supporters and others at the most public event of our convention and made public the announcement of these 5 recipients of our Thumbs Down Award.
Tell people what happened
To people there, black, yes, black.
I think the convention is in Houston next year. Someone was saying that I think we ought to actually have a reception around the Texas-shaped pool at the Marquis Hotel.
I'm all there.
So,
When
Stephen
A's folks reached out to me and invited me to come on the show, what my response was.
I wanted to get to this part. My bad. It was all the way at the back end. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, because that I want to
given the same honor, and there were private conversations, correct?
Yeah, there were private conversations that happened before we announced Thumbs Down Award with some folks. But look, when Stephen A's folks reached out to me and invited me to come on the show, what my response was that let's have a private conversation first. Look, I never said that I was unwilling to have a public conversation with Stephen. I just said that I don't believe that the first step should be for me as president of NABJ to go on to his program. Right. So I've offered this private conversation. That offer still stands. I said on the stage on Saturday night, the door is open. The opportunity for change is here. Right. So I believe accountability begins with listening. And then from there, we can talk about what, substantive public engagement might look like. But we're not there yet.
Why wasn't that not offered to him at first, though? Like, so you sit there and speak, and we're not saying that as personal. If again, he's a member of NABJ, he's not a board member, but he's a member. He's an active member. He's brought, again, we talked about it. You may not think it's significant or anything like that. He brings First Take back-to-back years. You served as the president. Clearly, you just said you was on there last year. So last year, I don't know the time frame, but last year he was there with First Take. He was talking about Jasmine Crockett last year into this year. You know that the conference is coming up. He's not invited this year. NHB First Take is not there. Maybe you decline. Maybe he didn't have that private conversation should have been offered first.
Do you think that it hasn't been?
If it would have, I don't believe both parties would have participated the way that they have. She said conversations happened with some parties. Stephen A was presented as he was blindsided. So my part is when she says accountability and listening, my thing is, so when we talk about politics, how do you expect somebody to listen when you attack them first? How is Stephen A supposed to receive the constructive criticism of listening and like, hey, maybe you have a blind spot, but you.
I want to go continue with this because people who have gotten this award has also won awards with them. So I want to understand the organization, because if you don't understand the organization, you don't understand the award. You don't understand where this comes from, and I think that's what people look at it as. We're just dogging Stephen A, which I guess, it's to check him a little bit, but it's not like he's thrown out the freaking black club. Like we gotta be real about this. All right, that's one from their mouth. Like they can explain what
is not
what the
accountability
future is holds.
Right, like let's talk about what real accountability that's going to lead to changed behavior looks like. I mean, he said in his response that he heard us and that he was listening, but I don't know. I mean, he seems to think that what I'm saying here is that NABJ bestowing this award on folks somehow means that we are making them enemies of NABJ, which is absolutely not what I'm saying here. And I get it. Stephen A. Smith has been in and around and shaped by and giving back to NABJ for a long time. So I get that this is kind of landing differently from him, that he's feeling some type of way about this because he does have a real history with us. But, I hope that means that NABJ also matters to him, that our voice also matters to him.
You gonna say something?
That's okay. We love our black women. We do. They love to feel like they know what's best for us and tell us what to do. If you understand the respect that he has, if you understand the work that he has put in and respect the work that he has put in, is he not expected or owed or valued enough to have, again, this same tonality before giving the award? Is he allowed to show attrition before he's given the award? This is all a conversation. I'm listening to her, and she's speaking of, well, if you heard us, then maybe you will atone. Well, yeah, I probably would have heard you if the private conversation would have happened previously, and I was checked on some shit. I don't. Again, men should be checked. I'm not saying that men should go uncheckable or you should feel egotistical or your masculinity or whatever the case may be. But also in his response was, the thing that I believe that hurts him the most, which is what I would just respond to, the disparaging of Black women as he is again surrounded in his not professional world. When this is hitting him, it's not professional, it feels personal. So as they're saying that they don't hold a personal atonement for how they present this, it was received personal. And his
voted on, it's voted on. It's not like just one person just did this.
I understand that, but the board is surrounded by women. If you looked at the board members, members of the NABJ, and so again, so we're talking about we're hearing their feelings. They awarded their feelings. They spoke out and expressed their feelings. On the opposite end, as a person who says my life is revolved around Black women, so for me to receive award about disparaging Black women as I'm sending off my young Black woman to school and everything, like when he's having, so it feels like it's a personal. It feels personal.
I mean, they didn't know that he was doing that, but I get the whole thing. It's like, wow, this is crazy. They don't really know me, But
so yeah, a private conversation should have been had before you make the public assertion. How everybody gets to gets to suck at the teat of your public assertion of me.
Okay.
Granted, it's a public persona that I have, but your public assertion
you don't think that
of
he
me.
should get the award? You know that he does this. Even if they have a conversation, like you think that he should, we got a
if they had
the
if they had the private conversation, Chidi, yes, give him the award. That is my sentiment.
Okay.
If you had the private conversation with him before, then go ahead and give him the award. Don't blindside him and then tell him, well, if you're listening, then or don't accept my terms or my ultimatum of how the conversation now then has to be had. You've already had it,
and
you had it without
celebrate his success, but also challenge him when we think that he can do better, and that we have an expectation that he will because of his relationship with us. Like that's part of what community is supposed to be. And so I hope that there is still a chance for us to come to the table, and then hopefully to get to a public conversation that leads to real change.
On that particular point, I'm gonna go to Dwayne. First of all, again, the Thumbs Down Award is not about career. It's literally what has happened in the previous year.
Absolutely. Listen, the President Haynes has already spoken to this point, but let me piggyback on it. The door is open to Stephen A. Smith. Listen, Stephen can come back into NABJ and have a conversation with the board, with the members. He really needs to have a conversation with the membership. It's the membership that if you listen to that broadcast, that cheered, actually they booed when his name was called. It's the membership that is feeling this way, and it is a reflection of our membership that the board took this action. And it is a moment, I think, for reflection on his part. God knows we don't want to push him out of our organization. He has, in fact, had a long and supportive presence, but it doesn't mean he hasn't stumbled, because we all have stumbled. And so here's an opportunity to show how we can be a Big Ten organization and embrace him, but you can't get a pass when you do harm to our members, to our community, when you denigrate people within our ranks. And God knows, given the history that some of our political leaders have had in denigrating Black women journalists, we do not want to have a situation where that action goes unchallenged, either among the politician, the political class, or most certainly among Black journalists who we embrace as members of our organization.
Aaron, again, I want people to understand factually. One, Stephen A. Smith has not been kicked out of NABJ. Membership has not been revoked, has not been suspended, any of that. Also to remind folks that NABJ also has a Best Practices Award, And people who we have previously given the thumbs down award have actually been given an NABJ Best Practices Award. So that's important also. I saw most of what Stephen A. Had to say, and I did send him a text as well. He talked about how he's never been honored with NABJ in the Hall of Fame. And I told him, and I'll say this to anybody else who says, okay, I don't understand why. Individuals nominate you for the Hall of Fame. It's not a board decision. So members nominate people. I was inducted in 2020. Someone had to nominate me. A committee evaluates the choices. It goes to the board. Board votes. And so I can't.
All right. So my take is, hey, if the board and the membership feels that way, I don't think that we should have to call you to let you know that we're going to give you the award. But if somebody is very close with him, and they can give him a heads up and have a discussion of like, listen, this is what they're feeling, because this is a group of people. It's not like somebody one person just chose, hey, we want to give you this award, and it wasn't just him, like it was multiple people that got the award. So obviously, this is getting the headlines because he is, Stephen A. Smith, and I think a lot of people agree with it. There are people who think that maybe the practice of how it went down, they don't agree with it. But at the end of the day, have you done this? To me, yeah, you have within the past year. Maybe you can do better in the future. Like that's what it comes down to me. You have, you talk that down to Michelle Obama. You talk down to, John McCrockett, Kamala Harris too. The way he covers them is just different, and it's just very different. If you pay attention, and I get it, you watch him, you might not feel that way, but a lot of people do clearly.
That's respect.
All right. Listen, man, Stephen A. Smith, he then goes on to Fox and speaks his piece. I know that we've done enough right here, and when I get to this point where I'm like, I feel like I'm piling on, I usually stop because I don't want to pile on him. But to me, the fact that he went to Fox is extremely.
Where is he? Where does he go? He reached out to the board.
He already talked on his own platform. He has his own platform. He talked to his own platform. You don't got to go anywhere. You said your piece. Now you're going to the conservative people of America to say, look what the black people did to me. That's what he just did.
I mean, did the black people keep it in house? We had the conversation. Okay, you're mad that he's going out.
Like, do you have to go? You have your own platform. You talked about it. Like they have their platform. They talked about it. He went to Fox.
You think he went to Fox to talk about this, or was booked for Fox? And no, I'm saying, hold on, Chidi. He appears on Fox. Yes, he goes on Fox. Outside of this award, do you think he just goes on Fox to spew the disparaging takes that he does, or is he already booked on Fox and they just feed him the trough and he fucking eats at it?
He has a close relationship with Sean Hannity. We all know how he loves that guy, and he wants everybody to vote Republican.
I get so Stephen A. can do some. Stephen A. can do something personal. Something personal, but it's not 6 women on the board that can take what he do personal, and they collectively don't have group think together.
They didn't like what he did.
I'm just saying, as we talk about the ethics, I'm just saying the ethics of
now you're defending him going to Fox.
I'm asking about the Roland Martin brought this. I don't know shit about this. Roland Martin brought it up and said, as a board member, I don't have personal things. I'm speaking about there is 8 board members. 2 are male. That means 6 are women. If it's not supposed to be a personal thing, and granted, he has did it in the year, but the list of the things or the people that was placed upon there, does Stephen A. meet the requirement of who those people are or what those people have done? That was just a question that I have asked.
To me, it's not going to be equal but it's a through line for the criteria for the award. We talked about the criteria of what the award is, and he fits it. You agreed, right? Or do you not agree with that he fits the award criteria?
I mean, the fits the award criteria of whatever they said about not advancing the. If he's the, I don't know how we're two sides within the last year. He becomes the man of Black journalism. He's the face of it. We're inviting him. We're taking the resources that is available to him. He speaks. He says he's involved in it, but yet he's
Do you
not.
think that Black people should not call out Black people that help them? Because
I'm saying if we're talking about Black people calling out Black people, I already stated, call me before you make it public.
All right, so
that's it.
So, okay, we got that out.
But what I'm saying is the double downness of the conversation to Roland. Yes, Roland as personal Roland's been on the Stephen A. Smith show. That's their introduction to their bridge to each other. Roland said he wasn't on the board to call him. He learned there. But the fact of what I'm saying is now, if I'm Stephen A., I call or reach out. You say you don't want to have a public conversation, but then you double down. You said it. You give me the award publicly. Don't talk to me privately. And then when you say, I want to have a conversation with you privately rather than publicly, you then have another conversation about me and it publicly before you speak to me about it. Again, but now we have a response to where he goes to talk.
That Stephen A. Smith had a whole response to the reward. So they went on Roland Mountain to clarify, okay, what's the award? What's the criteria for the award? How it's given and why it's given. So that's what it's about. So to clarify, a lot of people didn't know this award existed. Let's be real. A lot of people didn't know this existed. So to clarify why Stephen A. got the award and making sure, hey, listen, it wasn't personal, but we want to develop a conversation. We don't want to just do it on your podcast for clicks. Like, I
believe that. But to my point is when has the NAB? Okay. So when I am identifying with you and I don't want to fight. We don't want to talk about this and do this for clicks. Okay. Stephen, put Stephen A. Smith.
He offered only on his show. So is he serious about doing?
If you gave me the award again, if I'm receptive, he never dismissed what the award was for and never dismissed what they said to and about him. It's bullshit that you gave me a public award and tell me you want to talk to me in private. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
It's bullshit.
I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go watch it right after this part and find out what he said is bullshit specifically, because obviously I don't want to cut him off. But is that what you're saying is bullshit, or is that him saying is bullshit? I want to know.
My interpretation of when he gives that intro, the very first thing that we heard was that intro. And then when he said that's bullshit, it was cut off. So you did not hear that. But what Stephen A. said was bullshit.
Let's hear him on Fox. He might say here because you want to go to the boy and talk to.
Okay.
All right.
I have failed miserably. I've been trying for years. Then there is the drama of the WNBA, where Stephen A. is accusing conservatives of politicizing that controversy, but argued the WNBA did it to themselves by. First of all, this frustrates me as your friend. I get more angry when my friends are attacked than if I am attacked. We have been friends for decades. You won't even let me tell people what I know you do for minority communities, will you? If I started to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. Am I right or wrong?
That is correct.
Okay. So it frustrates me that people that don't know you are making ridiculous allegations like this. Now, doesn't this have to do specifically with your criticism of radical people on the left? And you did mention a couple of African-American women at times, Jasmine Crockett, who says nutty things, Joy Reid, who says, in my view, nutty things.
So this is
is that what
he gets on Sean Hannity to continue to demean Black women who says nutty things and dismiss them. And this is where we're talking about with Black women in journalism. That's why he gets the award. This is what we're talking about. And he's not going to check him. He's going to let that fly, because this is the normalization of dismissing Black women in journalism. Go ahead. Let's go.
What's it about?
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it. And that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous. I was raised by 5 Black women. My mother, God rest her soul, and my 4 older sisters. I have 2 daughters. I have 10 nieces. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I find it highly offensive that they would label me in this way. Give me a thumbs down award specifically for disparaging Black women. I want everybody out there to know there's no such thing. That did not happen. That is a flat out lie. and that never happened. Whether it was Jasmine Crockett, whether it was Kamala Harris, whether it was Michelle
Never
Obama,
happened.
I pointed to something that they said that I may have disagreed with. That is all.
not true.
That is all that I have done.
That's
And
not
Disagreeing.
Georgia-
Okay, that's fine. I said that's fine.
Yeah, but remember what
I mean, disagree and disparaging. I know we're parsing hairs because he was critical, and how he said it was not. And we speak it. We haven't got to that conversation. What you say and how you say it matters, and how he said it hurt some feelings.
It's also what he said. He said something about her being ghetto and using street talk and all this shit, and that's not what she does. You know, and she then how he talks about.
You're too close to the vest on this, bro. Because if we're being honest, Jasmine Crockett got a little street in her, and we know that's why she a fighter. We know that's what makes it a part of her being a fighter.
Love, everything is everything. Let's just get out of here, man. Let's just get
I mean, that's fine. I mean, again, if I can't say what I want to say on my podcast, like you get on your fucking podcast, then we gotta wrap the shit the fuck up. Then let's go to sleep, everybody. Let's go to sleep. Let's wrap it up. Because clearly I ain't got a fucking voice over here to say what the fuck I want to say.
Go ahead, say what you gotta say.
I said it, nigga. We wrapping up. We wrapping up. We wrapping up, nigga. I said if we being honest, my nigga, Jasmine, you telling me Jasmine don't got something, an element that we like about it because we are around black women. That also was a point of what he was saying, attacking Trump. The way you were and how you were in the manner and the way that you speak was not advantageous. That was critical. How he said it was very negative. How he said it was very loud and boisterous. I'm not arguing that. Disparaging and critical is a fine line that I am arguing. That's all I'm saying. He was critical, and how he said it was seen away. And we spoke about that, and he apologized. So for him in the same year to say what he said about Jasmine Crockett and then fucking apologize for it and still get a thumbs down award, I can see how a nigga takes that personally. I personally fucking apologize. I publicly apologize. As loud as I said I was wrong about her, I publicly on my platform apologized to Jasmine Crockett. And I still get the thumbs down award for being disparaging. I can see how this nigga said, I heard you the first time, and he respect. I said respect because I got you.
Just
I got you.
this that they're nutty.
This is after the fact that I've apologized and said, I mean, is Stephen A saying that? Is Stephen A saying that she's nutty? Because now we're on a situation where here we are having a conversation because I'm associated with Sean Hannity, I'm now associated with everything Sean Hannity says. Is that correct? Because if niggas are attached to you, I can't go out saying maggot with the F and that don't stick to you. That's not fair to you.
If I don't sit here,
that's
and say,
not
hey,
fair
listen,
to you.
Let's not use that word on the podcast. Then yeah, I will take credit of like, yo, people like, yo, why don't you say something when he's going off like that? You know, if you truly are not trying to offend a certain community, why wouldn't you say something when they talk that way? And listen, I'm not gonna go through every time he talked about a black woman and picked up all the disparaging remarks. But the way that you paint it is not what it is. It's not he just talked mean to them and he just had different opinions. It's not just that. There are facts that he said, you know, that demean them, that makes them seem like they are less than their counterparts, whether it be a white woman or it be a white man. And how he talks to the white men and white women on his shows are not the same way. Unless it's like Michelle Beadle and somebody who's doing something that's obviously obstructive. But the criticism is not warranted when it comes to these black women. It's not like they are doing something that requires his vitriol that way.
That's true. But that is true. And on the opposite side, when he does have Candace on his platform and it's not met with the same vitriol of the same kooky, crazy talk, I can see why that is looked upon where you choose the side, where you pick the side. And that is very fair to say about Stephen A. But again, disparaging black women is something that I would just say he hasn't disparaged Sage Steele. When Jamel Hill said, oh, we saw Stephen A with Sage Steele, we was like, oh, that fits the bill. I'm like, damn, that fits the bill with what, 2 coons? Because that's exactly what you're saying. But it wasn't disparaging when it was with Sage Steels. It's not disparaging when it's Candace Owens. So that's what I'm saying. It's a picky choosy, and it feels like it's political, and then it feels like it's personal because it's a subset of black women that he's, like you say, he's attacking. And when he's not nice to Democrats and when he's not nice to progressives, then that's when he's labeled a certain type of way. That's true and that's fair.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think we can land there. I hope we can all grow from this. I hope that he can grow from this as well. But it seems like he doesn't.
Well, I
he'll
mean,
say
yeah,
he
you're
hears them,
right.
and then he'll go on Fox and say, I didn't do any of that. So you're telling, you say on your platform, you say, yeah, I hear you guys. Then say it's bullshit. Then you'll run to Fox and say, guys, the black people said I did something to black women.
Hold on. Can he hear you and understand the vote? Okay. The premise of what he's saying is that he's not using his power to elevate black women or black people or shine the light positively in the black space, right? Like that is the underlying thing that we're talking about here, because he can say, I hear you with that and I'll do better with that. And then he can also say, I don't feel like I deserve the award because I don't feel like I disparage black women. Two things can be true, as we say all the time. He can hear what they're saying and identify that, yeah, I can do better, but I still didn't do the thing that you said that I did. Isn't that can that happen, or is that not something that can happen?
I think it's possible to hear somebody and say, I didn't do that, but if it's like within a matter of days where you say you heard them just to say you heard them, and then you're not willing to have a private conversation to dive into what happened, what it was, and then you run to Fox before you can, clarify, okay, what the issue is, then yeah, I don't think he did hear him. I think he really is offended, and it goes against his self identity. Oh, I was raised by these white women. I have these nieces. I have my daughters. I love black women. That cannot be me. So this award is bullshit immediately, and that's a narcissistic trait to dismiss completely.
That's fair. But that's fair to say. But also for Roland and for Miss Aaron to have heard him respond, for her to have denied the public space, that's the same thing of Stephen A. Smith going to Fox, right? It's the opposite. Hold on, it's the opposite. I didn't take the private conversation, and I'm still speaking publicly about the situation. She offered the olive branch of a private.
She don't have a platform. I want you to understand this. So she don't have a platform. Roland Martin is part of the NABJ, and they want to clarify the award on his platform. So majority of that they're talking about where the award was, where it came from, why it exists. A lot of people did not know the award exists. And yes, they were even saying, like, why isn't the FCC one even more important than the Stephen A. Smith stuff? Because he obviously responded. We got to respond to him on this platform and explain, what's going on with that situation, because it's a public conversation at this point. Roland Martin the first place to go is since he's vice president and he has a platform that's journalistic. So I know she doesn't have a big platform like that. I don't know her like that.
No, that's fine. I'm not even arguing that, but this kind of ties in our bow, which we can put a pin in it. So
she's not saying anything.
This goes back.
Anywhere.
But this goes back to the Rob Markman conversation, or when we talk about it. Just because Stephen A. respond, did they have to respond back?
I think that when the award becomes big, to the point where people are talking about this way, I think it's wise to clarify, hey guys, this is what the award is. And it's not like they said, yeah, and they just beat the hell out of Stephen A. Smith on that show. They're giving him grace. So like, listen, you can still grow from this, we can still learn from this, but yes, this is what clearly the membership voted. They told the process of the vote. They're not sitting here just saying, yeah, he deserved this vote. This, all this. No, they're saying this is why it happened. They're explaining it. I do think it's necessary to do that when you have one of the biggest media faces saying it's bullshit, and clearly he took it personally. And he doesn't have a private conversation.
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing that. I think my biggest thing is when he caused the award bullshit off the premise of I don't know why I'm receiving it.
But
right, we could.
you
But
can just
if I'm
ask
hearing the
and
total,
talk to them privately if you really want to know. And that's when you say him going to Fox, like the fact that like you see the Fox thing as equal to me
I'm not
trips
saying
me up a little bit.
the thing I'm talking about is Aaron says if we really want the way that we talking, you just talked about Stephen A. being narcissistic. We're talking about a male ego. We're talking about the frigidity of that and everything like that. Stephen A. Smith did not disparage, again, that word, the NABJ. He did not disparage the whole totality of what that organization is. He does not have a problem with the totality of what that organization presents. He has a problem with the board members who have a problem with him that did not reach out to him.
Oh, and so
that is what he has
the
a problem
membership
with.
voted, the board members should be then reaching out to him to clarify.
Exactly.
Hey, listen, the membership
exactly.
have voted
Especially when Aaron already gave up the information, we reach out to people to let them know they're receiving the award.
Who should have done that?
Whoever the fuck's on the board.
And you think they all
and if
have
Roland's
his number,
not,
and they're all personal?
again, no. All I'm saying,
like he's that accessible to the board. You think?
What I'm saying is, if this is what I'm trying,
Roland Martin might be the only one that really.
But who speaks to Stephen A? Who speaks to Stephen A to get first take there? It got to be the board.
Roland Martin.
It got to be. And Roland can't be doing all this. He can't be doing all this pencil pushing, bro. Maybe. Somebody outside of the board, like the president, has to talk and see
that. Okay, fine. And so here's
no. I'm just saying, like outside of Roland,
and I'll concede that maybe they should have reached out to him because he's a part of the board and let him know that the membership feels this way. I don't know that did not happen. Let's be real. Like I'm not sure that.
Okay.
You know they might have
Roland. If you just
months ago, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not talking. Like I don't want to talk about it. I already apologized." Maybe it was, I don't know. But here's the thing: I'll concede that if they did not reach out to him, that's possibly something they could do. Somebody in membership could have done that. Can you concede that him going to Fox is some bullshit too? Because this is not.
No, I'm not finished. No, I understand that's bullshit. I think both sides. When I said it's two sides bullshit, I'm just saying the sentiment of running and talking to somebody without talking to the person first. That's the thing. Like that's what I call bullshit. That's what I'm equating to, and I would agree.
But you're missing the point that they did want to talk to him privately, and he only wanted to do it on his show. So when you talk about you committed to the black cause and all this stuff, and really try to hear them. You're really not. You really want to use this opportunity for a moment. Stephen A. Smith is a grifter. He uses the moments to create content.
But that didn't discredit all the things he does do privately that we don't know about.
I'm not talking about that.
I know. Okay.
Then you're right. I'm not saying he doesn't do anything privately. I'm not saying he doesn't do anything privately.
I mean, but
for what he does publicly does harm to the black community.
So him going to first take was grifting. I just want to ask. I just want to him taking first take to NABJ the previous 2 years.
No, I didn't say
was that him grifting? No. I'm talking about. I'm just trying to connect actions here. You're saying he's a grifter. You're saying he only does stuff that's public, that puts him in a positive light or whatever the case may be. This was not going to put him in a positive light. This was going to be a conversation to be had in public.
Okay.
That is what I'm speaking to. I don't think that he was grifting to switch the narrative. He's just like, if the narrative is already out there, then let's have it on a public forum.
This guy is reaching out to people and saying he wants all black people to vote Republican. While they're removing voting rights, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, so yes, bringing them to first take is good. It's good. Going to an HBCU with first take.
But she can ask them questions though.
This is what this is about. The fundamental.
But she can ask those questions publicly.
The fundamental problem with Stephen A. Smith is his conversations surrounding black people tends to be extremely negative, volatile, and on top of that, pushes a narrative that we need to be controlled rather than received. When we watched James Talarico yesterday, and he talked to that black man, and he talked to him earnestly, That's what we want from our politicians. What Stephen A. Smith does is tell black people tone it down. You figure out another way. You got to play the game in a certain way. That's how he plays his game, and I honestly think that is Coonery. And I think that what he does on his platform is use these moments for clicks rather than a moment for revelation, a moment for accountability, a moment for unity. We just talked about the 154 podcast where me and you were talking about Black Americans and Africans, right? I was gonna bring up the Van Jones talk they had, but I didn't bring it up because we've had so much other content.
We can do that tomorrow.
They use all this conversation as a moment for unity, bro. And you can see they're earnestly trying to learn from each other. They're earnestly trying to have real conversation.
But it's
not
publicly though.
He didn't run to Fox and say, yo, these black people are hating on Africans, or these Africans are hating on Black Americans and on Fox. That's what Stephen A. Smith just did. That's different than what this woman did. It really is.
Public, but they had an agreement to talk publicly. Van Jones and Godfrey and 054 publicly. We've had these conversations between Black Americans. Black Americans and the diaspora in private a ton with no progress. Right? We've had these conversations in private. Me and you are now being able to have public conversations that we've only had at 6553, that we've only had in Brandy Wood about things that we care about. So to have a conversation publicly and put it out in the ethos and put it out in the zeitgeist and put it out in the universe is also beneficial.
Absolutely. But what she says, can we please have a conversation first? Like, they didn't just say Van Jones show up this date and we're gonna have this conversation. They had a conversation before of like where we're coming from. Arpa, we're getting a lot of heat. This is what we think. This is what we met. And he's like, yeah, this is where I think you guys should have done this. And then they had a conversation. They talked about even Emmanuel Acho before, because you can see that they had a plan when I watched it. This is what she's asking for. She's asking for a private conversation with him so she understands his motivations.
When he asked for to come on
his show and you get ambushed.
Hold on. I just want to be clear. I just want to be honestly, we're producers. When he's calling to be public, there's not a pre-pro. There's not going to be a private conversation about what we're going to talk about.
I don't know.
There's not going to be.
If she's asking for a private conversation and he didn't say, okay, yeah, we can do that, then probably not.
For us to, I don't want to hash me and you. We literally got into an argument before today's show. Can we get to the show, nigga? Because you don't want us to iron things out before the show. So as Stephen A, again, maybe, yes, a grifter, but also, yes, I own my own platform. You just said that the NAB...
Oh, yeah, you were arguing with me. I was arguing with you. I was trying to get to the show.
Oh, get out of... No!
That's exactly what it was.
No, Cheetah, you was... Hold on, you were so
arguing... telling you to stop. I was like,
no, you was arguing with me.
We're like, yo, chill out. Let's get to the show.
But my thing is to that logic, to that thought process. Like, you're an executive producer, you're a producer of the show, you're a host of the show. You want the maximum virality and the raw emotion on the show. But me and you do have private. Hey, what we talking about? This is what we talking about. This the benchmarks and stuff
with Tim and ABJ. Because
you should have mistrusted for Stephen A. That is a valuable asset to the organization and has been willing to give back and has been there. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Might not trust his motivations at this point, by the way his rhetoric has been over the past year. As he's gotten more and more into political space, the more and more he's been seen as a complete coon and a complete guy who's completely out of touch with black people. Honestly, he just comes off that way. I get it. You like him, you watch his stuff, and you see value in his content.
I do. It's the same thing as Charlemagne. That. Yes, I do. It's the Charlemagne effect. The opposite. Charlemagne was sniffing J-Lo's butt seat. A seat on Power 105 on a Breakfast Club, and now he's the spokesperson for Black mental health and the $200 million mogul for Black Effect, right? So, what I'm saying is, people make a change, but people make a change in who they are and what they present to be. And to your point of Stephen A, where you're saying that, oh, I like him, I like his content, and you pick up. No, it's about, I also do see the value in what it is that he presents as a black executive in this space. It's the same thing as Charlemagne. Charlemagne is a black executive now in this space. I value what he brings to this space, even though I know who the fuck he is or how he made his bones in this business. But he's valuable in this space as a black executive.
He's not sniffing chairs anymore. Stephen A. is still sniffing chairs. That's my difference. That's my point. Like, not literally, but you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, but that's what they're saying
what Stephen A. is. He's actually being exposed more as a sniffing chair nigga than he was before on First Take alone. He's being exposed as more his true self, which is a yes man to the right wing. That's all he is. He likes to call himself an independent, but he really ain't. His true thoughts are we should all vote Republican while our voting rights are being stripped.
But is that the right? Is Republican the right wing, or again? So my thing is, here we go. Is there divisions in what it is that we are speaking about in parties? Is the right wing equivalent to the Republican Party?
Yes.
And if that's okay, so therefore there is no differentiation between the Republican Party and MAGA, because MAGA
under the umbrella of Republican Party, there's MAGA. There's American First. There's Libertarians. Libertarians are different, but they tend to align with the Republican Party a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. They are right. They're also right wing, but they're not.
But libertarians would probably say they're independent. And libertarians would probably say they're independents as well.
They'll say they're libertarian. Libertarians is different than independent.
Okay.
Independent, I don't have no party. Libertarians is a specific thing, but it's definitely right wing too. So it's Republican, right wing, Libertarian, right wing, and under Republican you got MAGA First, or America First and MAGA, pretty much is what's going on right now. And under Libertarian, I'm sure there's other stuff, but I don't pay attention to them.
Okay, so when Stephen A. is saying go Republican, there's no differentiation in Republican at that point. It's all bad when it's Republican when we're speaking.
Majority of it is all
majority is all bad.
I don't trust Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene as far as I can throw them when it comes to black people and what they want for black people. Hell no. This is Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's been a complete racist for 10 years, 15 years prior to where we are today, where they're like, oh, maybe we should not support Trump. No, you have a history record. And even Sean Hannity, his good friend, has been racist, and it's clearly dismissing black women in his face. And he's cool with that shit. He's cool as a piece.
The way that again, we have our biases, the vitriol that we just expressed, and the white people that have changed for who they were the past decade, we don't believe them. They need more people, i.e. Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Sean Hannity. When I bring up Charlemagne, you like, I don't see the correlation. And I'm saying the correlation is somebody that changed their stripes and we don't believe them. When you say he's not sniffing seats, when Charlemagne is now seen as a Rock Nation puppet, when he's seen as somebody that is now again in the space of black journalism or information putting out, when he
but here's the thing with Charlemagne, he's on the right side of history most of the time when he talks now. It's not from a place of complete ignorance, and maybe it's because
I received that.
He's done a lot of internal work on mental health.
Received that.
He seems like he is for things like just forgiveness, empathy for other people. I'm not saying he's not a shield for Rock Nation. I have no idea what's going on with that. But politically, he tends to say, okay, yeah, what Mamdani's doing in New York City is good. And he's as clear as that. He's not going to sit there and find a reason to criticize Mamdani when he's giving people free childcare, or when he's cleaning up the potholes, or when he's going to be like, he's killing it right now. And this is just objectively, you can see what's good and what's wrong. Whereas Stephen A. Smith is going to find some fucking shit to say wrong about this guy when he's helping real people. He's out of touch completely. He's out for self. That's how I look at these people.
That's fair when we talk about capitalism. He's out for self. When he tells black people, don't mess up your money, get your bag, we don't get to the bag as much, still like when he's telling people, yo, I'm not telling you don't smoke weed, but nigga, you got to know when a drug test, stay off the weed, don't hurt your bag. Like when he's telling people to be quiet, I understand what you're saying, but there is a flip side to it. He's a nigga that didn't get the bag till right now. So, and to your point, playing the game as a politician. Right, that's what he kind of aspires to be, right?
Yeah.
You have to play the long game in order for you to get the long money because it's not there initially.
I think that he's gonna play the long game, which means sucking up to right wing people because that works. That's how you get the money. He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna stand for his black people over his money. He will do things for black people. He will, absolutely. He will do things behind the scenes for black people. I'm sure help black people get jobs, help black people, figure out how. I think that he's a good person in real life. I'm not saying he's a bad, evil person. I'm saying that his political takes and how he moves and uses his platform does not help black people move forward. And he may think he does. He might honestly think he does in his mind. That's what he thinks. Oh, let's go all vote Republican. No. Do you know the history of this country? Do you know the history of this party? Do you know what's going on right now in America? You over here, you just had a whole spat with Trump. He just called you out directly. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? So then the way you talk about black women is a problem, bro. It is. It doesn't matter if you have daughters. It doesn't matter if you have mothers and aunts and sisters. It doesn't matter. The way you talk about black women publicly, who are public figures, tends to be negative, and you need to check yourself on that. And that's what that award is about. And until he does that, yeah, this award is apropos. I mean, it fits. The shoe fits. It fits. Then wear it. And I think he should wear it. Could they have called him prior to? Maybe, but they didn't. So just accept your award. Say your piece, and I want to hear you out on your platform. But taking it over to Fox and completely denying it and completely saying you have no, they're lying about you is not true. It's not listening. It's not hearing them. It's the complete opposite. It's running to the people with the money and saying, look at these black people, what they're doing to me who helps black people. Look at the black people doing bad to me. And that's what he just did. He ran to Massa and said, look what they did to me.
Damn. What a punctuation. Sorry, Stephen A. We clipping that, boy. That's going up in the morning.
I gotta get a Cap Cup right, but maybe we can get that up. But man, I love the conversation. I love the discourse. I'm not saying yes, I have issues with people who use their platform in a negative way for black people, but I don't think he's a bad person. I want to make that clear. I don't think he's Drake. I don't think he's a good person. I don't. Stephen A. Smith, I think there is something in him that he wants to do good and be seen as a good person.
Yo, it's because that nigga Canadian, boy. I'm telling you.
That's nothing to do with Canadians. I love Canadians. Canadians are awesome. Just strategy.
You're right. Hey, you're right.
Bret Hart.
Chelsea Green, fuck with you, girl.
But that dude, man, there's something up with
she's been saying disparaging remarks about black women too. I don't know. You on the list too. You on the list too, Chelsea.
I respect you for the whole Tessa Blanchard shit though. So I got
but Jade,
there might be some real heat that you just can't
back up a little bit.
There might be some real heat between the women. Talking about cat fights.
They just need to throw hands.
Bookend this with cat fights. hit the Joey Styles drop.
I'm about to grab that and put that on the joint on me.
For real. But no,
all right, man.
Great pod, great show, man. All is love. I know. Listen, this is my brother here, man. Listen, he gonna get me riled up no matter one way. Listen, I'm going through a whole anxiety attack on this pod, and he's rocking.
I wanted to see if I could push. Push him through it. I think I pushed him towards it.
Where he didn't get no fucks. Nah, but
piece of respect a few times, you know what I'm saying. But we doubled back with it. You know what I'm saying. We doubled back with it.
No, we got there, man. But listen, man, great conversation, guys. Great conversation. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Please keep tapped in with us. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're here with us right now, you are a real one. Thank you so much for being here and locking in with us. We're trying to grow this one brick at a time, brick by brick, one step at a time. So yeah, keep staying tuned, and I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all who like and subscribe and comments. Even all the hate comments, I fuck with y'all too.
Yo, they coming hot and heavy, boy.
It's so fun to have this conversation.
They coming hot and heavy, boy.
This is what this pod is for. It's the conversation. Better thank you guys. But yeah, man, we're out of here. All is love. Everything is everything. We are the culture. We are the zeitgeist. Thank you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace.
Hearts and spirits, because we all need it. Have some grace.